songs that are a little, what we call, sexy. You can see from the title, it's more of a love album.
You're muted, and
Ears up, ears up. What's good?
and your volume.
My bad,
You
my
can't-
bad.
What's going on,
My
man?
bad. I'm sitting here
That's in that
chopping it
flow
up, and I'm
state.
like, oh,
Oh
I'm
man, you was
muted.
going in.
I was going in. So I just wanted to say thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Manifestation, another week of Manifestation 2020. I'm glad everybody out there is back tuning in with us and you are safe. I know we were off last week because we wanted you guys to spend valuable time with your family. You know how big those extra vacation days can be, or that big holidays can be. And Labor Day is a big holiday for a lot of people, especially that time of year. So we just wanted you guys to concentrate on your family, which is, the most important thing that you can concentrate out here in this world. I mean, without family, you're pretty much lonely in this destructive world that we are trying to navigate through. So, just having quality time with your family, spending it with them, because you just never know when the next time you will see them. This world is so crazy with all these things going on. So cherishing our family is something that is very vital and important. I know I get a chance to spend as much quality time with my family as possible, and I enjoy it. So I hope you guys do the same as well. So with that being said, we're going into this week. This is the second part 2 of the powers of hip hop and rap music. And I know in part 1, we broke down a lot of stuff, but I got to show you more of my side and my effects of hip hop that really affected me in a very powerful way. I showed you guys multiple songs that I played throughout my life that kind of curated me into the man that you see today. This time, I'm going to let Bobby Drake and Major go ahead and let them go real depth and details with the hip hop on the part 2 side. So you guys get to hear more of what they pretty much accumulated during their lifetime and what music turned them into the great men that they are today. So definitely got that going on. Remember, later on in the show, we're also going to be talking about the situation that happened with the young lady who got hit in the face with the brick. There's details into that story. We really want to break down and have a real good dialogue conversation, a healthy one, so we can understand why instead of us fighting over something, we can have more clarity and understand that in the future, when things like this happen, we can be on a united front and not at each other's throats over what we figure out is going on or what's not going on. It's just for us to collectively hear each other, and then we can process the situation as it goes. But we're definitely going to break that down later on in the show. So with that being said, I'm going to pass it over to Major and Bobby Drake on the powers of hip hop and what it meant for them during that era of growing up with it and how it became so impactful in their lives.
Definitely, man. Firstly, your volume went down a bit for some reason. It was loud and it kind of went down. So I don't know if it's something with your settings, but greetings to everybody. Hope y'all had a safe Labor Day weekend and everything is good in your life. God bless hip hop, man. Like, yo, I listen. I've whenever I have a long weekend like this, I get a chance to have an extra day to look back and reflect and just kind of vibe. And I'm sitting here with my wife. My wife is a little younger than I am. You know what I mean? And so one of the things that she loves, quite frankly, is when I put her on to old school hip hop or older school hip hop. You know what I mean? And like she loves it, and I love the reaction from her. It's like one of the things that helps our relationship stay new. I'm always introducing her to new stuff, and she gets to the point where she knows the songs as much as I do. Like my wife is running around here, talking about Grand Verbalizer. What time is it? That song came out before she was born. It came out literally before she was born. Like, and she can't get the song out of her head. You feel me? And like I'm playing other songs for her. Like I was playing Microphone Fiend. I'm like, what song is that? She's like, yeah, that's that Grand Verbalizer track. I'm like, okay, like we can really talk about hip hop. Like she knows what she's talking about. She recognizes the samples that other rappers use in other songs. Like that's not something you find in a lot of women, but it's so dope to me. Like I played Paid in Full, and I just asked her, I'm like, okay, who used it better? Right? And she's like, Tupac used it better. I'm like, all right, I got you. And then, okay, that's a sample. The beat, who used the beat better? And she said who she thought used the beat. She didn't catch it when I said the beat. And then I played the PM Dawn joint, the set of Dripped on Memory Bliss. She was like, oh, shit. She didn't realize, okay, one person sampled the beat, one person sampled the music. And I was hitting her like that. So it's so many levels to hip hop. What's interesting in that regard is hip hop bringing people together on a dating and relationship or romantic level. Like we always talk about hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And one of the songs that I have is one of my songs that I want to talk about today is actually a song too, where this rapper called Paris, very underrated rapper, probably the most underrated rapper ever. He has a song called Asada Song, and it is like the quintessential love song. You know what I'm saying? Written about black women. You know what I'm saying? He said in that song several times, I love the black woman. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if anybody's ever really articulated, their love for the black woman in a societal sense, on a socio-political level like that. You know what I mean? Like hip hop, man, especially in its golden era, which most people consider to be between, what is it, 87 and 93, I think is the agreed upon window. Man, you just can't beat it, bro. Like it inspired everything in my life. Anytime I'm down, I have a problem, I'm stuck somewhere, I can't think right now. Something went south, not south, but something changed at the company I work for. Good paying job, very comfortable. Now all of a sudden I gotta learn a new computer language. Jesus. It ain't easy. You know what I'm saying? But I put on that hip hop, I can do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I can do it. It soothes the soul. Literally, it soothes the soul. When you have so many brothers contributing, in a creative way and saying things that are your voice, but you can't say, but articulating those things to you in different ways, while being artistic, while being creative, while spitting these over hot tracks and catchy hooks or whatever the case may be, and using the ill metaphors and similes that a lot of these rappers use. Man, it's just nothing like it in this world. And that's just the music. Not even talking about the culture that surrounds the music. You know what I mean? Because hip hop is also a culture. A lot of people don't know that. And so I just want to shout out hip hop and thank hip hop for being there and getting me through all my shenanigans in life and still being there. It's a beautiful, beautiful culture. And more people really need to learn hip hop and appreciate hip hop for what it is in its truest form.
Yeah, that's dope. I can only think of certain love songs. I don't know how in depth that song is.
Yeah.
But I know the ones that I've talked about were pretty dope, and it kind of was versatile. Like, I Used to Love Her by Common was really talking about hip hop, but in the form of a woman. So you didn't even know until the end, when you said, well, I'm talking about is hip hop.
Yeah.
So you had that. You had Common and Mary J. Blige. What was the name of that one?
Common and Mary J. I knew they had a song.
Come close.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't hear that one. I gotta check that out.
Okay. What?
You may have and just didn't realize what you were listening to.
Maybe. It's a lot of songs like that.
Yo.
That was off the Electric Circus.
Yeah, off the Electric Circus.
Yeah.
That's a song.
Okay.
That's a song that I think is a dope proposal song.
Okay.
Yes.
It's a dope proposal song.
That's fly.
Yes.
Question: is this common or common sense? Because he changed when he became Common.
It was common.
No, this is Common.
Okay.
Matter of fact, it was on. I think it was called Electric Circus. It was the album, if I'm not mistaken, that he dropped after he changed his name.
Okay. Okay.
So I think it was the first one that he dropped after he dropped Common Sense and went to just Common.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check that out. For sure.
And the next one was Bonita Applebum, which was a very classic for us talking about women.
That was crazy.
And the one I told you guys, the first part, when we first did part one, there was a group called Boogie Monsters, and one of their songs is called Sweet Music.
Mm-hmm.
It's music appreciation, right?
Yeah.
And
no doubt.
When he talks about, it's the same concept that I was saying about Common, how it can be used for a woman, but it's really talking about the sweetness of music. But it was so dope how he broke that shit down. Like it was crazy.
Yeah, that was dope. That was real
Yeah,
dope.
that
I
was
really
dope.
enjoyed that.
And then you had another one that I really don't think it was talking about women in the pure essence, but it was just talking about the relationship part of dealing with women and how men could be so into a woman, even though she might not be into you and might be playing you. But I thought that the guys that was in it, how they put so much effort into this one woman that end up was playing both of them. But
Mm.
just to hear the lyrics of the efforts that they were putting into thinking that this was the one, and then she ended up, playing both of them, and they caught her, and then they talked about it. But it was Cellar Dwellers. I don't know if there's a song called Perfect Combination by Cellar Dwellers. I don't know if you know Cellar Dwellers.
Never heard
But
that one. That's
yeah,
something new for me.
Yeah, Cellar Dwellers. So yeah, check them out. They had that, and then there was the other one where, oh gosh, I can't even remember. It was on my top of my head and I just lost it.
Well,
But yeah,
we can't, if we're gonna talk about love songs, we gotta mention the street anthem for love songs with Method Man and Mary J. Method Man did an extraordinary job of articulating his love for black women in that song.
Yes.
I don't even think he knows how dope that shit is. The shit he
Yeah.
said on that song,
Yeah.
otherworldly. That's the only one. Like, yo, that joint really hit me. And the video that Bobby sent us in the chat the other day, the sister, the way she was talking about it, the way it hit her. I don't know if sisters really, saw that coming.
No. Because no one had any idea. And then not just that, but that's by today's standards. Back then, in terms of content, in terms of just the significance and this milestone in terms of appreciating sisters, that was like discovering fire.
Yeah. Real
remember,
talk.
I mean, it was just a little thing. He didn't think anything of it. It was supposed to be just an interlude.
Huge.
Just like a little gap in between tracks, and she heard it like.
She fought for that. She fought to make that a single. Like, yeah.
Yes, she did.
That's crazy.
And to be honest, I think considering the beauty of that song, what it's speaking to, I can't think of any better way for it to come to fruition, because you literally have, a man doing something, not thinking much of it, but it meant all the world to a woman.
Real talk.
And she's just, pulling herself out there saying, this means so much to me. Can this be more than what it is?
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, the men who were responsible for that, they acquiesced and they helped to bring it to something. So you have, again, the partnership of the man, the woman coming together to make something beautiful. And it just felt like a perfect metaphor for the song as well. Now, of course, the politics and the business that happened afterwards was, less than ideal.
Right.
But in terms of how we got to this in the first place, it really just all fit and came together nicely.
Real talk. Beautiful, man. Yeah. It's hip hop is still here, man. Like the spirit of hip hop, even in its current form, some of us may not care for it too much, but every now and again, you'll see iterations of real hip hop show up. Like I think about the song between J. Cole and Lil Durk, the song with J. Cole and Lil Durk on it. That's a dope record, man. That's a powerful record. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a Lil Durk fan like that, but he can spit. J. Cole, I mean, he speaks for himself. His reputation precedes him. That's a dope track. You know what I'm saying? And I would not expect that to come from Lil Durk. You know what I'm saying? But here it is. You know what I'm saying? And even I've heard people like NBA Youngboy, talk about how he wants to turn his music around and so forth and so on. I hope that happens. But I'm content, flashing back to some of the illest times in hip hop, to get some of my fuel in the meantime. You feel me?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I did want to say the song I forgot that had a brain freeze. I found it. It was one of the dopest songs, and I think it's right under I would put it right under the Method Man song.
Okay.
And that and this song is so powerful because I think it shows how much a man can go through when he finally meets a woman that he really, really wants to build with, and then just like that, she's taken away from him. And
Okay.
that
Renee.
is Renee.
Renee that was a big one.
Lost Boys.
That's a big one. That's a
Yes.
big one, bro.
That was powerful.
Woo, that was a powerful record. And
Yes.
to hear that as small children,
Yeah.
whoa, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It
Yeah.
really, really puts you in another frame of mind because, like, yeah, you know, he loved the girl and all of this, that, and the third, and she died. You know what I mean? And it was like, whoa, you know, it really makes you stop and appreciate some of the people around you, man. Like, real talk. That one hit me. That's another one that really hit me. No one died around me like that, but it's women that I really rock with, that I cared about, that moved away. You know what I'm saying? Even women in my family, you know, that I was really tight with, or whatever the case may be. You know, you tend to pick up the phone and call a little more. You know what I mean? Even if it's not necessarily a romantic relationship, there are relationships that are worth putting a little more into than some of us do sometimes. Because as men, we tend to be very insular. You know what I mean? We don't tend to be as, you know, outreaching as women. Sometimes, you know, we keep our feelings to ourselves, we keep our emotions to ourselves, and so forth. But, you know, a song like that, that'll make you pick up the phone, you know, and that's what's up, man. Shout out to Mr. Cheeks, to Lost Boys on that one. That's a legendary record. Agreed.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
for sure.
And that's in that same vein. It's obviously it's more recent, but there was a track off of Nas's Streets Disciple that for me personally was always the minute I heard it, it just automatically cemented itself like in my chest. It's a song that was always gonna be that. That's a milestone music right there.
Okay.
And that was Nas's Getting Married. And when I heard that song, like literally, and I love how descriptive it was, how it was general, but it was also very specific, very, it felt almost like someone pulled out a camera and was just like recording somebody's all the events like leading up to the marriage and everything, the wedding. And I love how it really spoke to the way he felt about the woman he was getting married to in the song.
Yeah.
You know, the little jitters, the different considerations, just really reflecting on your life, like, you know, all the things that I'm going to be leaving behind. I don't miss it. You know, I'm tired of, you know, of the hoes that's out there, the STDs, the drama, the games. I have someone who I know, you know, is here for me. I found that person.
Right.
It also spoke from her side of things, the things that she doesn't have to deal with. Dudes trying to, you know, shortchange her, trying to take advantage of her.
No doubt.
Really got into the idea of, you know, even tapping into some grown folks. Mentioned how they talked about important things like prenuptials, and they came to an agreement whether we're going to do it or not. But it was just surprisingly thorough.
Yeah.
Considering it's just a little 3 minutes some change song, whatever. But it really kept you present. Like I could see that being played in someone's reception.
No doubt.
It was just such a thorough.
It's a great one.
But celebration of love, family coming together, and you know, again, when we're talking about hip hop, that's what it's about. All the different elements that it can put together. You know, I know nowadays, at least in terms of what's popular on the radio and everything else, everything seems to be so, you know, cut and paste. It's either going to be a song about fighting violence or, you know, some sex or something. It's rinse, wash, repeat. But, you know, it's moments like that where you see that hip hop really, it's an expression of life. It's life music. You know, you have your more base things where you talk about things that maybe get in a fight with somebody, you know, some beef between people and solving it, or maybe it could be something as vulgar as, you know, you get drunk one night, you and some shorty mixing it up, you know, at somebody's crib or something. But then there's also the more deep moments where you're talking about family, we're talking about stress, loss of a loved one, motivation for business, whatever, just all different avenues. That's why it's so powerful, because it really speaks to the human experience, to our experience.
Right. Real
You know what I'm
talk.
saying? Like you mentioned before, those times when you can't really express something just right, where you don't really have an outlet. You feel like sometimes it's just you that's going through this, whether it's good or bad. There's a pretty good chance if you do some deep enough digging, you're gonna find a track by some artist out there that hit the
It's gonna
nail dead on
speak
the head.
directly to your experience. That's real, man. That's real. So yeah, man, that's what it is. Shout out hip hop. Happy birthday. She turned 50 this year in August.
Officially, yeah.
That's what's up. Well, so who's gonna set it off? I got my songs ready, man. Like my song list. It's not too many. I want to make sure I got, left some room for, the brothers to, chime in and, speak on their stuff too. But, whoever wants to go first, what's up? And
Oh, that's on you guys. You guys can kick it off. Remember, I done had a lot to say the first go round, so I'm listening to what you guys got.
right,
All right,
right.
go ahead,
First,
Mitch.
yeah, I got it, man. I could go on all day, but I got a couple that I want to rock with right quick, man. First off, have y'all heard of this song by Paris called "A Sadder Song"? Have y'all heard that song?
Nah, I haven't
If
heard it.
that's the song, I've heard another song that kind of has a similar title, so I'm not sure. I'm mixing up in my head, but I think
Yeah,
I might know what you're talking about.
it's a masterpiece. It hurts me to my heart to know that most people don't know about this song because it's
Mm.
that beautiful and that powerful. And this I'll just give a little of the first verse. I get the first verse just to let y'all know where the song is going. Um, He starts off thinking of you and how the perception came to pass of a queen being just a piece of ass. So I'll ask you how that sound is for the sisters I missed the last time around. Because I can't forget what you've been through. I can't forget the hardships of what you do. So I'm paying you the ultimate respect because I love you and that's what you should get. And it's a shame that it comes as a surprise from the man in the land of do or die. And the word could ever reach and educate. It ain't nothing but a style to set it straight. And I'm raised right. The lady still first, but smooth with the groove for the fools that doubt your worth. Still thinking of a master plan to protect and respect. Because the fact is, I love the black woman. Listen, this guy, as he mentions in the verse, he's like one of those really, really radical pro-black rappers. You know what I'm saying? And he says it on there. He missed the sisters the last time around, but like this song, you know, he wanted to, take time out and, address because, at this time, this was like around the time when NWA, Luke, some of these guys was heavy in the game, whatever the case may be. And a lot of people, was always talking about how women were being dissed in rap music. You know what I'm saying? And, he came out with this song that was like an ode to the black woman. And it just kind of, nobody really paid attention to it. You know what I mean? But it's like the song, my go-to song when I want to think of something that, really speaks on the sisters or whatever the case may be. And he talks more in the second verse about specifics, which is what is really dope about the song because y'all know how we do when we treat women a certain way. You know what I'm saying? And he says on here, anyway, I remember there was a time when I would see you and try and go for mine, push up in the guts for a month or two, leave a stamp, break camp. Y'all know the rules. And if something went wrong, it was your fault. The time was cut short, and so were the phone calls. Come up in my face, someone would ask if I know you, and come up in my face, and I would be like, "What? Who? How many dudes have said that in a song? Talk like called out some of the flaw stuff that we do in relationships in a song. You know what I'm saying? I think LL Cool J is the only other one I could think of
Yeah.
that's actually done that. And there's other stuff that he talks about in there. I don't want to go through the whole song, but like check that song out, man. It's called a Sada song and it's by Paris.
I was just listening to it. I had mute myself and I was listening to it.
Oh yeah,
Pretty dope.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's
it's ill.
it's on the that wavelength of the 90s when we had the living single era. It's that b-boys with the overalls, kicking pure knowledge. And
Yeah.
that's why the industry had to switch the game up, because it was too much positivity in hip hop during that era, during that time frame.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they had to
Yes.
break that up, man. So that's
It's
why they give us
sad,
the
man.
garbage they give us now.
And we
Mhm.
allowed them to do it. Can you imagine
That's the
if
worst part
more,
about it.
instead of listening to Luke and all those other cats that was talking what they was talking back in them days, if we have more rappers coming up rapping like this to our youth, can you imagine what the relationship between black men and black women would be like?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And more record labels getting behind them, because people don't understand how the record industry works. The investors get behind rappers that they feel will make it, and they choose what rappers they're going to put a budget into and what rappers they're going to blow up.
Yeah.
You understand? So now you see who they're choosing to put a budget behind: Sexy Red, Lotto, Cardi B, whatever the case may be. But
Mhm.
back then, these rappers still had a voice. Can you imagine if we had most of the rappers in the industry rapping like this to our young people?
Oh
I'm
man,
just saying.
the wave shift. It would be a wave shift.
Be a wave, be that paradigm
Because
shift that we need.
we had a wave shift. You know what I'm saying? Remember, we was into cross colors, FUBU. We was into colleges.
yeah.
We was just doing intellectual stuff. We was picking up thesauruses, dictionaries. We was learning words through hip hop. We
Yeah.
knew more. We knew more compound words and more structural words through hip hop than we did through school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real
You know,
talk. Real
and
talk.
now they dumbed it down to now you can just say cat, rat, blah, 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 blah. Words that don't even make sense.
Coochie
You
pink,
know what
the
I'm
booty
saying?
hole brown.
Yeah.
Literally.
So
Third
it's
grade
like
bullshit.
it's crazy because you don't have, we had guys like the Busters and the Fushnickers and just the Coogee rap. These guys was rapping fast with big words. We was like, yo, that's sick.
It's
And you
interesting you should
couldn't,
mention that.
yeah.
Very interesting you should mention that. And I heard Bobby bring up this guy, Pharaoh Monk. I don't know if you know Pharaoh Monk, or if you just know Pharaoh Monk. I've met Pharaoh Monk before a couple times. And
Talking about
I,
OC,
yeah,
Organized Confusion.
yes,
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
okay, because they would spell it with a K. But
Yeah.
okay, bruh, I've met him a couple times, and this next joint that I have on the slab is actually from Organized Confusion. And if you want to talk about that extra ultra wordy, just verbal calisthenic shit that you like, yo, what do these niggas read the dictionary type of shit? This song does that, but it's also talking about something, because a lot of people used to like to ridicule those rappers. Oh, they just calling out a bunch of big words and it don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
No, nigga, you not
Oh, no.
listening. You
Yeah.
understand?
You wasn't listening. Fairmont was really one of my top MCs back then. You're talking about like before. Well, I want to say because the Roots kind of came out around the same time, but he was in your mind frame before Black Thought even got on the scene like that.
Wait,
Um,
yeah.
Yeah.
Pharaoh
Oh,
Monk
yeah.
was the dude, man. He was the dude
Pharaoh Monk was a
killing it
monster.
with the metaphors. It was
Sick.
that one
Nasty
song.
flow.
That
Nasty
one
flow.
song he
Disgusting.
had with Q-Tip, man, that was my favorite song, man, because the way he break that shit down, yo. Oh man, that was a super dope verse.
And this drives me up the wall, because the only thing people know Pharaoh Monk for is Simon Says.
Yeah.
Some people know him for Fudge Pudge, but Fudge Pudge, when he was with Organized Confusion, and Simon Says, Pharaoh Monk, that's like his worst work.
Yeah.
This boy, that's a bad boy right there.
Yeah,
And this song is a prime example. It's called Release Hypnotical Gases. I don't know if you ever heard this song. You ever heard it before?
It's a,
What's it called again?
which one is called?
Releasing Hypnotical Gases. I put it in the chat.
I've heard of it. I haven't heard it.
Silly. Make sure
recognize the
y'all
way you
listen to
said it.
that. Please make sure y'all listen to that tonight, because in this song, like you say, the words are all over the place. The vocabulary, the metaphors, the similes. I threw a rock and I ran. Who says that? You know what I'm saying? It's just all over the place, right? But he's talking about the Armageddon. If you're paying attention to what he's actually saying, this is how it goes. As you look from whenceforth I come, riding the wind, thus eliminating competition from bird's eye view. Descending in helicopters in a village raid. Flesh will burn when exposed to the poetical germ grenade. I'm highly intoxicating your mind. When I'm operating on cell walls to membranes, cytoplasms and protoplasms disintegrate and eliminate them not after in battle. I display a nuclear raid that'll destroy bone marrow and cattle, thereby destroying the entire food supply that's crawling with AIDS, maggots, flies. It's ironic, more than demonic. Government utilizes bionics and a $6 million man to capture me. Clever. However, you could never ever begin to apprehend a hologram. Who's determined to fight solely to defend in wars the land of the holy? I threw a rock and I ran because I couldn't stand anymore within the depths of the sand. So don't ask me who's sane, because the hypnotical gases are eating my brain. Look, this shit, yo. When I heard this shit,
That's Monk all day. That's him. That's his flow.
What? I had to rewind. I didn't even want to hear the rest of the song. I had to hear this first verse over. I'm like, shit, who is that?
Every now and then, there's an artist
Yo,
who, and sometimes it might be just one, but every now and then you have an artist that's good for dropping verses, songs that have verses where you just got to hit replay. So like, I heard it, but I didn't hear it. Let me get an instant replay on that.
This man,
That's it, man.
Pulled up on this track, bro. Yo, and the whole track is like that. It's a 4-verse track, and the beat changes in the middle, and you can hear they're mapping out the Armageddon. Like the first couple verses is on this one beat where it's like ill, and you can hear the potions, because it's called releasing hypnotical gases, and they're gassing people to kill them because the population is has its demands for food, water, shelter, etc., and they can't possibly provide this to all these people, so they're gassing people, they're killing them. You understand what I'm saying? And that speaks to the type of shit the government has done and would likely do in such a situation. This is in the 80s, man. The late 80s, early 90s. They talking about shit like this. We like, yo, my head exploded when I heard this shit. Go ahead, and go ahead.
No, he's very comical, because like I say, one of my favorite songs that he did was Organized Confusion, because I used to love Q-Tip.
Yeah.
Anything Q-Tip was in, and him and Q-Tip, Organized Confusion had a feature with Q-Tip.
Yeah.
It's called "Come On, Let's Organize." Come on, we gotta organize.
I know the song. Yeah.
So dope. And then in the song, he was like, look who walked in the door, tiger, 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 uppercut. Right in your gut. And I was like, yo, this motherfucker is off the chain.
Who puts that in a rap? Yes.
Yeah, he was very fucking comical, but he was very masterful with his words.
Oh, did you hear him on Who Stole the Last Piece of Chicken?
Yeah.
Oh, bro. Oh, are you kidding me? And Roosevelt Franklin? Yo, this dude is special. I'm sorry. He's special.
He's definitely a very gifted MC, one of my top MCs that I still have to this day. Very underrated. A lot of people don't know who Pharoah Marshall is.
They don't even know who he is. I'm like, bruh.
But just his name alone lets you know, Pharoah. You really don't call yourself Pharoah unless you really supreme like that. And he really earned that name. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, like I said, it's a lot of gems that people don't even come across, because they don't run across these people because they weren't mainstream. You know what I'm saying? It was underground music. But that's what I love, because we had so many different radio stations and DJs that would play the great artists more than the mainstream. So a lot of people wasn't really listening to mainstream back then. They were listening to the underground music for all the real stuff. Remember, another artist that's pretty much on the line of being not appreciated like that, but was very gifted, was also gosh, I just had a brain freeze and just dropped his name just like that.
It's a lot of
Um
them. Who? Raskaz? That's
no. He was like he's in the realms of Pharaoh Monch. Um
OC?
Where's
no,
he?
no, no. You remember
East, West, Midwest.
he had the cartoon. He was the I think he was one of the first ones to have the cartoon
J. Rue the Damager.
Jaru the Damager.
Jeru.
That's
Yeah.
yes.
Hold
Jaru
up.
the Damager. Yes.
Hold up. Now you talking hip hop. Now you talking
Yeah.
some hip hop.
Yes.
We digging in the greats now.
That
Yes.
guy
Yes.
right there,
Yes.
and he's on that same list because I have a abstract list. And when I say
Yeah.
abstract, I'm not
Yeah.
talking about Q-Tip, no shade to Q-Tip, but I'm talking about MCs that were really, really, really just out there, and nobody, it's like people just couldn't quite follow them. And J. Rule
Yeah.
is one of those guys.
Yeah.
You remember that song, He Can't Stop the Prophet, where he had all the different characters,
It's like
Mr. Ignorance.
for you, you pity fool.
Oh my God, this dude was dope.
And then they tried to, and it was so dope because in the cartoon, he was like the sinister dude who didn't like him,
Yeah,
tried to defeat him. And where he was so dope with is like he came with that Samson shit because his powers was in his head. And the sinister dude tried to pick up some clippers and cut it, and it ended up exploding
yeah.
and killing the motherfuckers, yo. I was
Mr.
like, yo,
Ignorance. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that
yeah,
boy, that guy was special. Very much like Pharaoh Monk.
yeah, definitely.
And Organized Confusion, because I can't leave Prince Poetry out either. That's another
Yeah.
rider. He was the other guy, Organized Confusion. He was
Exactly.
also a monster. I mean, it's a shame that those guys didn't get the funding and the airplay, because man, hip hop would be on another level. Like even than it is, it probably wouldn't be as commercial because these guys made you think when they rap.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Like I sat down and listened to this shit, and I picked apart every lyric to this song. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm like, wow, these guys are, because I didn't really understand what he was saying at first. You play it
Yeah.
back, you listen to it. Oh man, you know they're destroying the food supply, and okay,
Yeah.
government is utilizing bionics. Okay, these dudes are talking about the Armageddon. Okay,
Exactly.
and then you go and you listen and you see how the music changes from something smooth and almost mystical into just all out war, very aggressive. You know, the same beat they use for No Omega,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the one with the drum roll, they use that beat, and then they just use a whole bunch of just angry samples for the second part of the beat. Check that song out. It's heavy, bro. It's heavy.
Yeah.
Y'all will appreciate it. You
I
feel me?
definitely will. Definitely
Yeah.
will.
So
Yeah,
that's
that-
another one. And then I had to top it off. I had to put, something on there with my second favorite rap group of all time. And that's Public Enemy. And the only reason why they're the second greatest rap group of all time is because Outkast is my favorite rap group of all time. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't know anybody who's as out there and eclectic as Outkast ever in the world in life, right? But
Yeah.
Public Enemy, people ask that question. When did you fall in love with hip hop?
Mhm.
I liked hip hop before. I fell in love with hip hop when I heard Public Enemy.
Yeah.
That album, my grandmother, I told you, if y'all have talked to me about my grandmother, and I think we spoke about those times, God rest her, Miss Iyabo Folamina,
Mhm.
Miss Evelyn Haynes, whatever name she want to go by. She was like Malcolm X's little sister. Like, she was just, everything about her was blackity black, 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 right? And she got that album from Sister Alternate, who's a good friend of our families. Shout out to you, Sister Alternate, if you're listening. And she just put it on her record player. That's how old I am. And she just let that thing ride and ride. My grandmother actually put me on the Public Enemy
Yeah.
when I was about 7 or 8 years old, I think. You know what I'm saying? And I would just listen and listen and listen, and I just couldn't stop listening to it. It was so forceful and so strong and so Afrocentric and pro-black and unapologetic. That's why I like Jason Black so much. You know what I'm saying? Like this dude, from the time you hear, if you listen to Jason Black talk for 20 seconds, you like this nigga a rider right here. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just what it is, and that's how I felt when I heard Chuck D. You know what I'm saying? And this song right here, Black Steel in the Hour of Chaos, you got these young brothers talk about, some shit went down. I got a letter from the government the other day. I opened and read it. It said they were suckers. They wanted me for their army or whatever. Picture me giving a damn. I said never. Here's a land that never gave a damn about a brother like me and myself because they never did. I wasn't with it, but just that very minute it occurred to me. The suckers had authority. Cold sweating as I dwell on my still. How long has it been? They got me sitting in the state pen. I gotta get out, but that thought was thought before. I contemplated the plan on the self floor. I'm not a fugitive on the run. Brother like me begun to be another one. Public enemy serving time. They drew the line, y'all, to criticize me for some crime. Nevertheless, they could not understand that I'm a black man and I could never be a veteran. On the strength of situations unreal, I got a raw deal. So I'm looking for the steal. God damn, yo.
I love
Yo.
I love Chuck.
What?
Chuck D was bringing it, man.
Who is this nigga? Yo. That's just my pure unfiltered thoughts in my 7-8-year-old brain when I heard this shit. This dude is a young black man, you know what I'm saying, out here in the streets, whatever. Not, we still were going through racism, we had not too far out of Jim Crow, whatever the case may be. We still dealing with racism on a daily basis. This guy is speaking like God on a track. The authority he rapped with. You know what I'm saying? The voice, the depth, the scope. This dude sound like he gonna come through the damn track, like he coming through the floor on your ass. I'm like, shit. I need to get like this guy. You feel me? Like, people don't understand. And see, that's why you can't have rappers running around here in dresses and flip-flops and all that bullshit, because I immediately connected with this guy. I'm like, damn, I want to be like that guy.
Yeah.
And this is a guy rapping on a song. You understand?
And that's the structure of power that came through them in the music. They were the only ones in the rap industry, in the rap game, that really aligned up with the NOI.
Real talk.
Like a lot of the NOI used Public Enemy's music.
You damn right.
Public Enemy was so powerful that even when what's his name, Spike Lee in the movie Do the Right Thing, grabbed it, and with the whole Radio Raheem got killed.
Yeah,
it was so powerful that it sparked rages outside of a movie. Like, even anything that happened to a black person, because they had that music lined up with Radio Raheem's killing, like, motherfuckers couldn't touch. Like, they weren't scared of police, and they was all about their peoples and protecting their peoples and making sure nobody fuck with anybody in the black community.
Exactly. Exactly. That was everything to me. It was so powerful, like you said, bro. Like, damn, these guys, I'd never heard nothing like that, and I've been listening to rap for years. The first rap records I can remember were from the Fat Boys, Houdini, Run DMC. I remember all that stuff, and it was nice. I liked it. It sounded good. But when I fell in love with hip hop was when Public Enemy came out. But It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back. That was their second album, by the way. I never really heard the first one until later. I went back and checked it out, and it was dope. You know what I'm saying? But that second one, Jesus, it's just on another level, man. And that song right there did it for me. These guys on this song, they touched so many different levels. They're rapping about breaking somebody out of jail.
Yeah.
Don't you know I caught a CO falling asleep on death row? I grabbed his gun and he did what I said so. They're talking about this. He's in jail because they're trying to draft him to go and fight for the government. He's taking the Muhammad Ali stance
Yeah.
against that and saying, nah, you kiss my ass. I'm not going to fight in no war. I'm a black
Yeah.
man and I could never be a veteran. Now, some people, they feel a different way about that, but I can absolutely relate to where he's coming from because, like
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali said, ain't no Koreans or nobody ever called me no nigga.
Yeah.
You understand? Well, that's a little different today, but that's a whole other conversation. But back then, there was no rift between the Asian community and the black community like that. You understand what I'm saying?
That was
And
programmed.
what happened?
I said it was programmed that way because they're dwindling in numbers, so
Right.
they had to make honorary white supremacists. So they bring in
Exactly.
the Asians and the Spanish and all these other enclaves of people to denigrate us
Of
because
course.
they're dwindling in their stuff. So yeah, all that's programmed now.
But during that, right, exactly. But during that time, there was no rift, and so I can understand the thought process behind I'm not going to help my oppressor go and oppress someone else. You understand what I'm saying? And if that means that you want to throw me in jail, then so be it. Muhammad Ali was a hero for that and other things that Muhammad Ali did. But that concept, from a young black man back in the 80s who, was barely more than a teenager at the time. You know what I'm saying? And he's talking about all this high level shit. You got rappers today that still don't talk about that. Rappers well into their 40s and 50s that don't talk about that.
Correct.
I mean, Chuck D and Public Enemy have some of the most relevant shit ever uttered in hip hop on wax. And that just cannot be understated. Shout out to those brothers. Chuck D was my hero growing up. I started rapping when I heard Chuck D. You feel me? That dude is special, and I think that's the last one as far as my verses at the moment. I got a million, but I know I had to keep it short. Whatever. Those three, when I think off the top of my head, what stood out to me the most. Man, those three verses were just gargantuan. And those three artists, Paris, Organized Confusion, and Public Enemy. That's all that pro-black, thought-provoking shit. I've always been one of those guys. See, this is why my top 5 is real different from everybody else's. I don't have Lil Wayne or, Drake or anybody who doesn't have any depth in my top 5. They're just not there. You know what I'm saying? And those brothers can rhyme. They rhyme dope.
Yeah.
But what are they talking about? Like, for me, the most important thing in your rhyming, aside from, what you can do with words and whatever, at a parallel with that, with what you can do with words and, syntax, metaphors, similes, and all that, is your subject matter. What is the point of what you're talking about? This is why I don't have Busta Rhymes in my top 5, or whatever the case may be. Or I don't put him in the GOAT. I don't put him in the GOAT conversation. You have him what?
I don't even have him in my top 20.
Yeah, me neither, because he doesn't have any depth. He's dope. Sounds good, but he don't really rap about nothing. You know what I mean? And then lately, the stuff he's been saying is just crazy. I just can't even respect him. But Busta Rhymes, he's dope. Technically, he puts nice stuff together, very creative. But at the end of the day, he's not really saying anything. And those rappers who are saying something, Tupac, Scarface, Public Enemy, KRS-One, when you really look at it, those are the ones that people really, really idolize. Like everything else. You know what I'm saying? Whose spirits live on forever? The Malcolm X's, the Marcus Garveys, the Elijah Muhammad's of the world, the people who were about something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's the same in hip hop, man. Those guys are about something. That's why when I say Scarface is in my top 10, people look at me like I got 3 heads. Nigga, have you ever listened to Scarface? The content, it might not be as pretty as some of these other rappers' shit, but the content of what that motherfucker had to say, Scarface has said some shit. I'm in a real life situation that's shit has gotten real. You dig?
Yeah.
And I can draw a direct parallel back to some shit that Scarface said in a rhyme in the late 80s.
Yep.
That's powerful shit, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand? So yeah, man, I'll land my plane there. That's about where I'll sit with it. What you got, Bobby?
Gangstar is on my
Oof.
top 10.
Oh, Gangstar is dope. Gangstar is dope.
Gangstar will forever live on.
And Guru had a lot to say, by the way.
Oh, Guru
Yeah.
was, oh gosh. Motherfuckers used to get lost with Guru's knowledge, yo. It was crazy.
Insane.
Crazy.
He was
Insane.
He was dropping all kind of heat, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. He had that CD with the Jazzmatazz. Oh, that CD was. I used to play that CD religiously. Yo.
That jazz thing remix? Oh my god.
Man.
Oh.
Yo, Guru is just so top notch.
I met Guru too. He was a very humble guy. One of the nicest rappers I've ever met. I just met him walking through Aventura Mall one day.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bob.
So, I'm saying, I'm like, where you be at? Because you bumping in the Pharaoh, you bumping in the Guru. Where you be at?
What you mean? Where I be at, man? I could go all day with my list. Look, bruh, because I used to also rap, right? So I used to study these cats. I used to really listen and examine the cadence, and like I borrowed from all these guys. You understand? Like some of my shit, it sounds like some of this Pharaoh Monk shit. Real talk, because I learned so much from these guys, and I admired them so much. You feel me? Like, because people only look at hip hop as some shit to make you dance and sing along, and there's space for that. There's a space for that in hip hop or whatever, but people forget about the form, like the art form that hip hop is, and just lyrically. My God, when you look at some of these guys' lyrics and you examine them, shit.
Yo, you know what? You know what would be dope?
What's that?
We should do a cipher, a Manifestation cipher. Us two and two other rappers. Because
I'm game.
Bobby, you spit.
I'm game. What?
Many moons ago, man.
We can do it. We can do it. I got beats for days too, by the way.
You think you can write something for the cipher?
I got dust the pen off, but I know I still got some stuff rocking and rolling around.
All right, we should do that. We should do a Manifestation cipher.
I love it, and I got you, dog. I got the beats too, man. I got beats for days.
Let's see if we can. When is the When is the Hip Hop Awards? October?
I don't watch that shit, so I can't tell you.
What he said, I don't know. It could be today for all I know.
Because hip hop has become some other shit. But yes, in the spirit of what you're saying, do some real hip hop shit around the time when the Hip Hop Awards come out. I'm game. I think it might be. Let me see. Let me check the dates. Hip hop. You mean the BET?
Yeah.
The EBT Awards.
I love it.
I stand by that.
October 3rd.
Okay. Shit, I'm game. I can have my verse ready. You dig? I'm game. I love it.
Well, you got the beat. You got the beat. So you create the beat, send it to us. Let us do our verse, and let's see if we can film this shit and put it out there the same time the BET Award drop. That'll be some shit. Because I think it drops on a Sunday, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, they always have it on Sundays.
Maybe that sounds about, man, dog, you got me.
They actually is a Tuesday. So maybe we could premiere it on a Sunday. Maybe we could premiere it on a Tuesday.
I love it. Let's go.
That'll be dope.
Game on.
I'm with it. I'm with it.
Game on. I love it. Okay. I'll send y'all a beat over the next 48 hours. I'm gonna send y'all a couple beats, and y'all tell me what y'all rocking with. You know, or if y'all have another idea of another beat you want to use, it's whatever.
And the video could be just something simple like how Scarlett do her shit, like in the street with a fucking mic, yo. Like it don't gotta be eclectic,
Yeah,
just shit like
yeah,
that.
yeah. I'm, man. Look, I'm the most un-Hollywood cat you ever want to meet. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's do it.
Yeah,
Woo,
let's do it. Let's do
woo. All right.
I
Yeah,
like it.
that's a dope idea right there. I love it, man.
it.
Because
Yeah,
you know
see,
what? Too
you
many
make
of us,
hmm
first of all, don't know what hip hop is. We were
yeah.
talking about this before we came on here,
hmm
right? First of all, don't know what hip hop is, and then the people who do know what hip hop is don't respect hip hop. We
Yeah.
had I posted this when they were having this debate. People were posting about Luke being upset that he wasn't honored, you know, whatever the case may be,
hmm
when they were honoring the hip hop artists.
hmm
And I have my issues with Luke, whatever, but in a very matter of fact type of way, not to denigrate Luke,
hmm
but just speaking in a factual manner. I was like, well, I don't see why he's upset because what he does is not hip hop.
hmm
I was not really trying to denigrate Luke. If I were trying to denigrate Luke, I would talk about what he does and why I don't like it or whatever, but I wasn't trying to go there. I was just like, that's just not hip hop. And boy,
Yeah.
everybody got so triggered. And I'm like, nigga, it's
You
not
know,
hip
you hit the
hop.
wasp nest with that one.
Oh, bruh. Because
hmm
this is my thing. First of all, Luke don't even rap. You know what I'm saying? And
hmm
I've had a problem with the audience in Miami
Yeah.
and their failure to receive or accept hip hop the
Yeah.
whole time I've lived here because I am a lyricist and I'm from here. You
hmm
understand what I'm saying? And people never gave me my props because, like, oh, you know, we don't want to hear that lyrical ass shit. You know, too
Yeah.
many big ass words, this, that, and the third. And it's like, but are you
Yeah.
listening to what I'm saying? No, nigga, I want to hear a bitch shake her ass. That's basically what the audience down here said.
Yeah.
And that is MCing is hip hop.
Yeah.
Or it's the meat and potatoes of hip hop because look, nobody scratches no more like that, really. Nobody does graffiti like that. Nobody breakdances no more like that. You can argue, you know, that people still are into hip hop fashion, sort of, kind of, but you got cats running around here with their nails painted, wearing these little skinny jeans and these coochie cutters
And
and all
trying
that
to say
shit.
that that's hip hop.
You did. I'm trying to say that's hip hop. So most of the elements of hip hop, which most of these people saying, you know, that Luke should be recognized as a hip hop entity, don't even know. They don't
hmm
even
Exactly.
know the 5 elements of hip hop.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Most of the elements of hip hop, one, are not things that people in Miami really did like that. And
hmm
two, are, you know, of all those elements, the only one that's really left that really is the dominant force in hip hop now and today is MCing.
Yeah.
When has Luke MC'd anything? He don't rap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He get on the mic, he hypes the crowd up, and that's cool. I ain't mad at what he does. Bass music is its own thing. I'm not downing bass music, but bass
hmm
music is not hip hop. Just like what Nas and Raekwon and them do. If I say, okay, I'm doing a celebration for 20 years of crunk,
hmm
why am I inviting Nas and Raekwon unless they got a song with a crunk artist? Because what Nas, Raekwon, Ghostface, Jada Kiss, what they do is not crunk.
Yeah.
Crunk is a separate thing that has its own sound. And
Correct.
it's like, okay, if y'all feel that way about bass music not getting its props, why not do something for bass music specifically? You know, and they tried to put it on the South. It really wasn't the South. It was the artists in Florida really that were left out. And I get it to the point of, you know, we do something similar. And, you know, Luke did do a lot for, you know, Black entrepreneurship in hip hop. You know, he did influence that, and he did do a lot for freedom of speech in hip hop. As uncanny as that is, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be, it is what it is. That's the truth.
Yeah.
So I can understand him feeling a little slighted in that regard, because even though he didn't quite do hip hop music,
Mhm.
he was close enough to it where he kind of fell under the umbrella of rap, and rap was the problem. You
Yeah.
dig? And
Mhm.
and he did, get those. He did contribute to those gains being made for hip hop. I get why he might feel slighted, but I just don't feel like what he does is hip hop, and
Yeah.
that's
Correct.
okay. I'm not shitting on bass music, but bass music is bass music.
Correct.
You dig? And that's all I'm
Right.
saying. And it goes to, the same for MC Hammer. We had another debate the other day about, okay, is Hammer hip hop?
Yeah.
And even we were debating prior to the conversation. Hammer's a tricky one because
Yeah.
before Hammer started, being ultra pop, Hammer was, in my view, when he first came out, doing hip hop.
Yeah.
When he crossed over and started doing, the can't touch this, well, that's not hip hop from where I
Mhm.
sit. It's
Correct.
it's what they called it, which is pop. And that's okay too, or whatever the case may be. But you can't get mad either, really, if you're not being honored during hip hop, especially when I found out the thing about him dissing Run DMC, and like those guys are like considered hip hop gods. Okay, if hip hop came from New York, they're honoring Run DMC, and they don't reach out to Hammer. Can you really be upset when you diss them and y'all? It seems like they never ironed out that beef that they had. You dig? I
Yeah.
don't know, but yeah, that's gonna be real interesting because they're still talking about that online. You know what I'm saying? I want to hear what Hammer actually has to say about it. But to your point, Ant,
Mhm.
if you're going to say MC Hammer is hip hop, you almost gotta say Vanilla Ice is hip hop.
Correct.
Nobody's willing to say Vanilla Ice is hip hop.
Correct.
So I don't know.
And it's fine. You can put them in rap music. That's why I
Right.
labeled the title hip hop and rap. There's a difference between the two.
And people don't
know,
get that.
And Luke is rap. Luke is a rap artist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's not a hip hop artist, but he's a rap artist.
He's a rap artist. I agree with
And
that.
there's nothing wrong with that, but everybody wants to be hip hop because hip hop is so much powerful than rap because hip hop is really the conscious side of rap.
Yeah.
And everybody don't have the consciousness of rap.
Right.
So, that's why they want to be put in that group
Mhm.
because anybody could rap. A white person could rap. That's
Yeah.
rap music. You know what I'm saying? But to go into hip hop on that side, that's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
That's the fault. You can't.
Now you
just-
talk about the culture.
Yeah.
Right. That's the heart of the matter. You can have offshoots, you can have spin-offs, but when it comes to the blueprint, the formula, the origin, the source, the at its purest, that's the
Correct.
hip hop.
Real
And
talk.
that's what they're saying because they understand. And even if people don't understand it, consciously, at a subconscious level, they understand that there's a difference. And when you have people talk about hip hop versus rap, hip hop is always going to have a deeper level of reverence that's being spoken about. It's going to have a different heaviness that comes with it when it's being brought up as opposed to rap, because people understand that rapping, and I think I said this before too, rapping is what you do. Hip hop is what you live. That's your essence. That's the spirit.
Right. Real talk. Listen, like you said, you know what I'm saying? It's so much more than just rap. You're talking about the way you live. Method Man said something very ill on an interview that I saw him in with Wu-Tang Clan back in the day. He said, if I hand this cat over here this sheet of paper, it's gonna be something hip hop about the way I did that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That right there. I mean, that's how deep it is, though. You know what I'm saying? It's a certain way that we walk, as we used to walk as young hip hop dudes. We walk with this little bop. Nas talks about that in his, raps. Walk the streets with a bop. There's a certain way that we walk, a certain way that we dress, a certain way that we speak. That's why you got people, in mainstream corporate America on their commercials talking about bling bling. What the fuck you know about some damn bling bling? These niggas come from of Magnolia Projects in New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? But they were so fly with the shit they did that you got people in commercials on mainstream television talk about bling bling. You got, I don't know if you've seen the latest Uber commercials. They're playing the beat for next episode. You understand what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
I'm like,
We are the culture.
Yeah.
We are the culture. Everything we do is so goddamn fly. People jock that shit. You got Kim Kardashian out here wearing goddamn cornrows. Fuck, you know about some cornrows? Your hair don't grow like that. You understand what I'm saying? Wearing cornrows, got the ass shots, so you get an ass to be big like a black woman, whatever I'm saying. Get herself looking curvy like a black woman, but it's in white packaging. You understand what I'm saying? So, of course, it's going to do more numbers, but it's all just downloading black women style. Period. You understand? And look, it is what it is, but I'm going to call it what it is. You know what I'm saying? You are downloading black women style. You know, people download our style in everything and then talk about how we ain't shit.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? You got Wu-Tang, you know, kids overseas talking about Wu-Tang this, Wu-Tang that, Wu-Tang Killer Bees, you know, Shaolin.
Wu-Tang's for the children.
Wu-Tang's for the children. I mean, yo, these guys are from Staten Island, man. What y'all know about some Staten Island projects?
Yeah.
And you from
The
Japan.
Isle of Shaolin.
You know, but
Exactly.
this is the impact of our music and our style and just the general rhythm with which we exist. That's what I call it. The general rhythm with which we exist, because we do exist in a rhythm of sorts, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? We move different, we operate different, we speak different, you know, and that culture, when everything comes together, you know, and it's not being filtered, you know, through the lens of some racist white person. It turns into very, very beautiful music. You know,
Yeah.
the shit that we get today on the radio, the reason why it sounds so corrupt and the reason why it sounds so sordid is because it is being filtered through the white supremacist corporate lens of what hip hop is. You know, by ourselves, we would never promote a Sexy Red or a Sukihana anywhere. You understand what I'm saying? But these white executives, they love that shit. They love a coon. And so yeah, they'll find the people who represent the worst of us and they'll exalt them and put them on a platform. They do it all the time. You know, I blame us for that. We dropped the ball.
They really put it in our faces years ago, and we didn't really catch on to it. But one of my favorite movies of all time, one of my favorite love movies of all time, is Brown Sugar. And in Brown Sugar, Dre was
I saw
an
where you were
executive.
going.
Yeah, Dre was an executive, and you know he was passionate about hip hop. You know, he wanted to sign Mos Def, but the label didn't want to sign him. And then he found out that he had to produce for this act called the Hip Hop Dalmatians, which was a black dude with the
some gimmick ass bullshit,
and a fucking white dude with a black coat. And the shit was so fucking comical, but it was reality of what
that's
it was.
Real life.
You can't tell me you couldn't cut and paste that and put so many different other artists. You could connect the dots, put so many other people in their place, and it's like, damn, I'll be Sexy Red.
So Dre, who was played by Tay Diggs, was the producer, and he got at his boss, you know, who found the act, who's, you know, the CEO of the label and everything like that. And they were going at it with each other. And he was like, look, you gotta get acts that's gonna put food on the table. You gonna have, man, they eating this shit up. And Dre was like, he just couldn't even fathom it no more. So he was like, all right, put him in the studio. As soon as they got in the studio, he was like, the hoe is mine. And I was like, but Dre was just joking around. He was like, yeah, you should say the hoe is. And he was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, the hoe is mine. And he was like, yo, I can't do this shit. But he quit, and then he ended up hearing the shit on the radio, the hoe is mine. And it was like blowing up on the radio. And it was crazy. This is the fucking reality that we fucking saw. They put the shit in our faces and showed you exactly the direction they were going in.
And we still allowed it. And we still allowed it.
You know,
it makes no sense.
And it was like Dre had to go. He wanted to start up his own label, and you know he got Mos Def, and Mos Def was doing his thing, and the people love it. The people love the realness of Mos Def, and but it was just so sad to see that the mainstream rather push the real to the side and promote the bullshit to keep the fatness in their pockets and also keep the bullshit and dumb down society at the same time. So it's a bird it's killing a bird with killing a bird with two stones, right?
Two birds with one stone.
Two birds with one stone.
Yeah, two birds with one stone.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's basically what they're doing. They were killing two birds with one stone. And that's what they're doing today. Because the progression of what, like I said, from back then, and if anybody been around people who love hip hop, we carried a notebook, we carried a book bag, we had pencils on deck.
Backpackers. Yep.
Yes.
Real talk.
We had that all on deck. So at any moment, we'll sit in the trees, we'll sit, anywhere, park benches, we'll be on the train, and a thought would just come in, and we're brainstorming and just writing it down. Now we got into an era where kids talking about they just smoke weed and whatever comes to their brain, they just put it down on paper. And it's not really hard to do that when you produce that type of lyrics and that type of content. The stuff that fellas was doing back in the days, you had to put in some work to put those type of bars together. That wasn't no something that you could just randomly spit out your mouth and just put it down on paper. It wasn't complex like that. You know what I'm saying? So because of that and they gave you structure of how to write something. Now it's like you don't have to do that. So we dumbed down the culture over the years, and the people, in our black society have been dumbed down from the vocab, because now it's no extensive vocab. It's nothing that some artists to this day say that'll make you go and pick up a thesaurus or a dictionary. Back then, shit, I had to carry one just to see what they were talking about.
Real talk.
That was dope.
These boys was
And in order for you to compete, you would have to dig and go through. So it made you work to learn words. That's how deep hip hop was. It made you build your vocabulary.
Oh yeah.
Agreed.
There were many times when I played a song and I didn't understand a word. I had to go look it up. Like, man, this sounded deep. Let me go look it up. Oh, that's what he's talking about.
So he was like breaking it down with the osmosis, and you're like, what the fuck is osmosis? And you go and you're like, oh shit, that was wicked how you placed that in there. You know what I'm saying? So it was dope, man. And I think we lost the essence of it. And we just need to build that back. But we have to branch off in order to do that, because if we let people program the way we need to go, then we'll always be programmed and controlled in that direction. And our greatness will always be hindered on it. And remember, another thing too that people don't take into context is that the music back then, we used to sample live instruments. We used to sample authentic melodies, and one of the things that, what's his name? Kanye West, one of the most powerful interviews he had was on Drink Champs, when he was talking about the rhythmic scheme of the beats and the harmony of it, and how it doesn't align with our body. All that 808 and all that doesn't line up with our body. If you listen to the music back then versus now, the music back then, it opened up your whole system and it made you feel good. That's why everybody, you could go to a cookout and you could play the old school music. You could play even with Will Smith, right? You know, summertime, you could play summertime. You could play Saturday by De La Soul.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Saturday. Yeah. Oh shit! You just
you
yo.
could play the melody that, like, the beat, the instruments, all of that was just made you in a great mood. Now you move to now these beats put you in a demonic place. It's to the point where they can't even play certain music based on how demonic the music and the sound is because of how it controls you and makes you react. Remember, they had the band tear the club up out of these club. You know what I'm saying? And that was crazy. You know what I'm saying? But when music shifts your mood, this is why they program that type of demonic type of energy into the music, because it keeps us in a demonic state. Remember, when we was listening to back then, we never had that issue. We were always talking about knowledge, kicking, respect, protect our women. Hey, Queen Latifah came out here, ladies first, ladies first.
Yeah.
UNITY, who you calling a bitch? You know what I'm saying? And you respected that. You know what I'm saying? And the poor righteous teachers and all these other people that were just kicking
Brand
real
Nubians.
shit. You know what I'm saying? That was just kicking shit that just made you say, yo, that was dope stuff. You know what I'm saying? And we don't have that. And that's why our children are programmed with the bullshit. And that's why I tell people all the time, when you're in the car with some children, man, program them to music that make them feel good and not the bullshit you listen to, because you're an adult and you can control your feelings, you know what I'm saying? But as children, they're going to go along with whatever you feed them. And now we have to stay away from that. And I had to check my exes on that stuff, because when they get in the car, they wanted to play a little, thumping music, and I was like, yo, that's not gonna work like that. So I used to put on a whole variety of music that would soothe them. And then my stepson ended up being a DJ where he plays that type of music now. He don't even play the stuff that's out now. You know what I'm saying? But you program your children according to, how you feel they should be programmed, in a way of being joyous and rightful and in appreciating what they do, the art form and the life that it brings out of you. Not the demonic side that turns you into a killer, and that's not even your nature. You know what I'm saying? But that music is so powerful enough, it'll make you do some shit that you just don't want to do.
Yep. It does. It does, man. It's sad, but that's the reality of the situation. Very scary stuff. You are y'all familiar with a kind of an obscure song by KRS-One called Higher Level?
Yeah.
You know that song, right?
Yeah.
Bruh, I want to challenge everybody out there that's a listener.
Yes.
To listen to that song. Yeah. Because that song made me comfortable. I already was kind of there.
Yeah.
But when you start questioning religion, people look at you crazy. They look at you like you got 3 heads. Correct. And however you feel and whatever religion you're into is one thing. But what was dope about this record was that KRS-One directly challenged what we look to and gravitate to and accept as organized religion, namely Christianity, right? I don't think, man, I can't remember, hearing other artists of consequence and other genres of music doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, on a very serious level, he has a stanza in there that says, title, take the title from the Bible, we can get there. rip the title off the front of the Bible, God don't live there. Too many inconsistencies, too many mysteries. Picture the Pope in the Vatican laughing, drinking, singing, and kissing me. You know what I'm saying? I stand with God, whether I'm paid or whether I'm crying broke. I like to ask these politicians, would Jesus vote? Bruh,
Yeah.
these are lyrics, man. You know what I'm saying? Just anybody can't go and come up with that, with concepts like that. And some people might hear that and say that it's blasphemous. I wouldn't go as far as to say that it's blasphemous, but what it does do is it opens your mind a bit. Like, wow, this guy who I admire, who calls himself the teacher, who's a very philosophical person, a very philosophical entity, is questioning, organized religion. And I think more so than the actual religion, the presentation of it. Would Jesus vote? That's a heavy question. That's loaded because people look to Jesus as the savior. But if you're the savior and people are asking the question, would you vote? Does the person that we believe is our savior, that we put all of our faith in, have any faith in this system?
Correct.
That's heavy, man. Like that's some shit. You are tearing at the thread that holds society together when you start asking questions like that. Those are the type of questions that, if people are sophisticated enough to ask and demand answers to, those questions will help usher in real change, real meaningful change, real tangible change that people can actually, wrap their head around. People can take home with them and it means something. You know what I'm saying? So these brothers wasn't just whistling Dixie. They wasn't just pissing in the wind. They had a lot to say. And I mean, that right there is the most significant thing about hip hop to me. The fact that hip hop spoke the voice of the youth and the voice of the people more broadly. It doesn't do that anymore. It just doesn't. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I said to you about the culture when you had Wu-Tang versus Outkast.
Yes.
And you was like, who's better? And I said, what you talking about? Because I can go either way with it. If it's the culture or for the culture or for the songs. And I said, for the songs, I would lead towards Outkast. For the culture, I would lead towards Wu-Tang for what they did in domestically and internationally. But also remember, one of the most powerful programs we had was what was it called? Teen Summit.
Yeah.
And remember, one of the Wu-Tang members, his verse was the opening music for Teen Summit.
I remember.
To the young black youth.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say for the culture, I would definitely rock with Wu-Tang. You know what I'm saying? Because what they had put out there was so powerful as a whole group. They were just that chess piece, man. Like we talked about with Method Man earlier and what his song with Mary J. Blige did. He was still part of Wu. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He just did his solo album, but that was the thing that really launched that stuff off. You know what I mean? Inspectор Deck, you had Inspector Deck, you had GZA, even one of my favorites, which was Raekwon, and what he did with his album it's still labeled one of the best albums, especially out of the Wu-Tang saga, built for Cuban Links.
Yeah.
That album is fucking incredible.
Sick.
Incredible.
Sick album.
Especially the song with Outkast on it. That was my favorite song on there. Like,
it was lit.
Yo, it was crazy.
Insane.
So yes, like I said, for the culture, I would definitely go down with Wu-Tang for the culture. I
Mm.
don't think anybody as a group has been that big and influential in hip hop. Hands down, Wu-Tang really took that crown.
I don't know. I guess. Yeah, that's debatable. I think the most influential hip hop group in the history of hip hop is NWA, as far as culturally. Not
Well, I would.
necessarily not necessarily for the good of the culture, but I think that NWA and the ushering in of gangster rap, I think they're the most influential group in hip hop history. But culturally, I can definitely agree they were probably more influential than Outkast. In terms of music, though, I definitely sided with Outkast, and I like both of their music. I just thought that Outkast. I don't think anyone's more original and creative than Outkast. I just don't see how you can do so much musically. I mean, I can't think of anybody else who could make a song like Morris Brown, who does music like that. You know what I'm saying? And then turn right around and make something like I love the way you move. Turn right around and do Hey Ya. Turn right around and do Elevators. There's just no group more versatile.
Yeah,
very
they,
diverse.
I mean, my
Very,
God.
for song wise, yes, they are the group song wise.
Hmm.
I'm still gonna say cultural wise, nobody has been bigger than Wu-Tang. I mean, you're talking about over 1 billion people in China and the Asian community. They ain't know nothing about no NWA like that, but they know the fuck out of Wu-Tang because remember, back then in the early 80s, well, I would say 70s, late 70s, moving right along into the 90s, we were
Mm.
still big on karate movies.
Mhm.
Remember, 36 Chambers was a huge fucking movie that was big internationally. Even in Jamaica, that's all we fucking used to watch is China karate music. I mean, karate movie, anime. That's it. That's
Yeah,
really what
yeah.
the fuck it is. That's why you
Mhm.
have so many international people that be in the Comic Con because of the Asian influence that we had in our country. And
Yeah.
with Wu-Tang was just everywhere because they incorporated the Asian flicks, the movies.
Mhm.
Hey, Wise Guy. These were
Yeah, yeah,
interludes
yeah.
on fucking Wu-Tang, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So the Asians connected with it and made it very big when it came to hip hop over in Asia.
Mhm.
So yeah, definitely. That's why I say, and that's just my personal opinion
No,
that
I
I
ain't
just
mad at
think
that. I ain't
cultural
mad at
wise.
that. I
it's
when,
valid
when I
reasons behind
say
it.
when I say NWA though, I'm talking specifically about just because we never heard anything like gangster rap before.
Mhm.
And you can actually make the argument that Wu-Tang was so open and was allowed to be so gangster
Mhm.
because of NWA. Like they
Mhm.
opened that door, they kicked that door open where we don't give a fuck. Like you were able to do what the fuck you wanted to do, say what the fuck you wanted to say, be as hardcore and as gangster as possible, and it
Mhm.
was cool. Prior to
Mhm.
that, remember, people wasn't even cussing in hip hop.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm really? People wasn't even cussing. People wasn't, being explicit. Hip hop was very PG-13. You know what I'm saying? So I respect what you're saying. I hear you, but I think that the Wu Tangs of the world, the Tupacs of the world, because Tupac is probably the most known figure in hip hop ever.
Oh yeah.
Tupac came from NWA. You know, all these type of rappers, Tupac, Ice Cube, all the gangster rappers came from that force and that drive that NWA came in the game with. Even more so than Public Enemy, they took it to that next level where, what I'm saying, anything goes.
I
I'm
was gonna
not sure
say
if
I
that
think
necessarily
Public
worked.
Enemy is in
Huh?
that slot. I was gonna say that I think Public Enemy is actually in that slot, but
They
I
were the
definitely
first ones.
believe that
Yes,
NWA was the evolution, was the next step,
exactly.
because in both cases, Public Enemy and NWA was serving almost as eyewitness reporters at that time, and
Yeah.
Exactly.
and there was no secret. They even said it back then. listen to Cube talking about it, you listen to Easy talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Their whole thing was they were basically reporting the news. They felt like there was a whole lot of things that were not being discussed and covered in the news, all kinds of crime that was happening, all kinds of disenfranchisement going on,
Real
all
talk.
kind of violence, and pretty much the same way how you go in these foreign countries in Iraq and Afghanistan where there's all kinds of war going on, and it's not
Mm.
until these journalists go there on the ground and actually show them what's really happening. They saw themselves in that role,
Right.
and they saw themselves reporting the news with no filter. They were communicating, and they really did a whole lot, especially when you didn't have little black boys and black girls and young black men and young black women who weren't really traveling back and forth between all these different major cities and enclaves, whatever.
Yeah.
They really did a lot to help them understand, hey, you know what? We thought that this was just happening in Detroit. We thought this was only happening in Miami. We thought this was only happening in Harlem. But they really helped people open their eyes. See, this is an emblematic. This is a symptom of what's happening everywhere. This isn't just something that's located in your region. Other people are experiencing this as well.
Right.
And in that
Right.
regard, they really helped connect a whole bunch of people. They really helped to break geographical boundaries, letting people know, hey, what you going on over there, we relate that we're going up. That's going on with us too.
Mm-hmm.
And so that also helped to build community and really strengthen hip hop in that regard as well.
Agreed.
So, but I don't think that would have been possible if you didn't have the Public Enemy that was doing it already, and they said, okay, we see the baton, we're gonna take that from you, we're gonna take it to the next level.
Right. Right. Public Enemy, they did it, but it was still kind of restricted because it was only through a socio-political lens. You know what I'm saying? Whereas, okay, and like you say, NWA picked up the baton and they broadened it and they included the streets. You know what I mean? And when you have the streets and that socio-political lens or whatever, and your speech is unfettered, you're not even putting no parameters on the way you speak. You just making that shit plain. You cussing if you want to. You're expressing yourself in real time, and it's raw. They were the first group to.
It's
They were
venting.
real talk. They were the first group to do that. You know what I'm saying? And that's really what sent hip hop to the moon. Hip hop was not selling #1 records like that until NWA came out. And then, oh man, because that's when they first started doing SoundScan around that same time. And they was like,
Right.
God damn, these niggas selling this many records. They had no idea. And NWA really took hip hop and put it on that next plane and made it with no radio play, made it commercial. That shit right there. What happened?
It sets out the trunk.
I mean, bro, it was insanity, man. Like, that's the second time I fell in love with hip hop, when NWA came out. Because, I get, why some people opposed some of the shit that they said and what they were about or whatever, but it was some real shit that NWA was spitting. And I was out in the Bay at the time, in California. I was out west. And, bruh, it don't get no realer than some of the shit they talked about. You know what I'm saying? Even though my dad they took my NWA tape, they confiscated that shit. You ain't listening to this. I used to go out of my way to go, okay, I'll pay you, go buy the tape for me again. And I'll keep that tape. I had that shit, like, I had my own little tape player that I used to keep and hide in the house.
Mattress.
Yeah, man, like, it was like that. That's how much we were so curious and so invested in that shit. We was willing to take a whooping just so we could listen to the latest NWA or Eazy-E and all that stuff. It was crazy. It was something. It was really something.
1,000 Miles of Running is what sold me on that. That was one of the realest records that
It was.
NWA
100 Miles of Running was what? It was heavy record, man. Them boys had a lot to say. I know they had a lot to say that was fucked up too, but they had a lot to say. This is why, like, when people talk about Luke, I can't really go there with Luke, because Luke didn't really have nothing to say from where I sit. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just didn't. but NWA, them boys really had a lot to say, and they got us, that freedom to be able to come out here and make it plain like that. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to all of those guys, man. Shout out to NWA, Wu-Tang, Outkast, Bone Thugs and Harmony. I mean, like, you talking about rap groups, man. Like that's like my top 4 or 5 right there. I think that was 4.
Yeah.
And my 5th one would have to, who did I say? I said Public Enemy, right? Bone Thugs and Harmony, NWA, Outkast, and Ghetto Boys. It had to be my 5th because of Scarface. It really, if I'm being totally honest, Scarface is one of the baddest lyricists in the galaxy. I wish Scarface would have went solo earlier. Not to leave Ghetto Boys, but just to do his own thing. You know what? Because Jesus, that man is a lyricist.
Yeah.
When you hear people talk about lyricists, nobody ever mentions Scarface.
They don't, and it's crazy.
Are you serious? And then some people have the nerve, the audacity to say we have no lyricists in the South.
Mm-hmm.
You ever listen to a gentleman by the name of Clifford Harris? That boy cold. People always talk about Wayne, how much of a lyricist Wayne is. He's good. He's a good wordsmith.
Yeah.
I think he's a great wordsmith. I think there's a difference between lyricists and wordsmiths. Wordsmiths do clever things with words. Lyricists have something to say, and they also do clever things with words.
I can see that. Okay.
You dig? Lil Wayne is an ill-ass wordsmith. He ain't, but at the end of his wordsmithing, he's not really talking about nothing. T.I.? Don't get me started. Go ahead.
The lyricists on the South Side that I like is the group MJG and 8 Ball.
Okay. Okay. They nasty. UGK. UGK. Bun B. That boy is touched. He's touched. He's special. What's his name? CeeLo Green. Andre 3000.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't got no lyricists in the South.
Too, put some respect on Big Boy's name. I love Outkast. I love Andre.
Okay.
I'm tired of Salucious Left Foot being treated like the redhead stepchild, like he's the unloved bastard that gets the Harry Potter treatment in the closet. No. Big Boy got bars.
Big Boy is
dope. And the only reason he don't get more hype is because, unfortunately, he's paired with Andre that everyone else loves so much. If he was his own act.
Yeah.
I was telling my wife earlier about Elijah Mitchell. He's the second running back for the 49ers. He is a badass, but he has to run alongside Christian McCaffrey. I'm just saying. We're still going to the Super Bowl either way, but Christian McCaffrey's the best running back in the league. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying. You feel me? So, yeah, it's unfortunate. Big Boy, he got a dope flow. I like Big Boy, but, man, Andre is just otherworldly with it. You ever heard this song Andre has with T.I. called Sorry?
I don't think that shit beats the song he has with Kanye.
Have you heard it?
No.
What's the name of it?
It's called Sorry.
Sorry.
I'm
gonna send it to you because if you heard it, you'd remember it. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't remember the title, but maybe.
Okay, I want you to listen to. I'm gonna send it to y'all. It's by T.I. featuring Andre 3000. It's called Sorry, and I'm gonna listen to the one with him and Kanye too. What's the name of that one?
That's off of Kanye's album, the last one he did. Because it was Kanye did a snippet, right? He just wanted motherfuckers to hear it, and the whole fucking world went crazy.
I know it. So I heard that song.
Oh my gosh, yo.
I like it. It's a good song. It's not better than the one with T.I. though. No. This song should have been released. It should have been released.
The way that he really
You mean
dedicated
Ye
that
versus the
song to
people?
his to the way he delivered that message for Kanye's mother.
Yeah,
Yo, that shit is crazy, son.
it's
Yo,
dope.
that was crazy.
It's dope. I liked it. I
That was
enjoyed it.
crazy.
It was popping. I can't. I mean, what did you expect from Kanye West and Andre 3000? You know,
Yeah, that
enough
was
people
that was sick.
may have their issues with Kanye, but one thing you cannot take away from this man is his talent. And when you put him together with a cat like Andre 3000,
Yeah,
yeah, I didn't expect
that
anything
shit.
less than dope. You
That
feel
shit,
me?
dog. I'm telling you, dog. That song was a rendition of children's story. You know how a motherfucker tell you, like, look, just sit down. Let me tell you this story about this
Yeah.
wonderful woman. Yo, and he's just like, yo, the shit was crazy.
Okay.
Crazy.
Okay. I'm gonna check that. I'm gonna check it out, and I'm gonna give it a more of a listen this time because I listened to it, but I didn't listen to it because this is around the time when stuff was going on or whatever the case may be, and I was just a little disgruntled with Ye. I'm like, come on, man.
But yeah.
Yeah. But I remember it sounded good. I do remember it sounded good. But again, with those two, I mean, those two could easily do an album.
Yeah.
You feel me? And it will go to the moon. The one thing that I have against Andre 3000 that makes my blood boil when I think about him is that he stopped rapping.
Yeah.
That motherfucker right there. Jesus.
I stopped rapping. I stopped rapping a long time ago because when you have people that's passionate about the music and you're not being inspired anymore, it affects the artist too.
No, I get it. I get it.
Because when motherfuckers, I didn't even know that shit. What's his name? Killer Mike came on and he was like, yo, I had motherfuckers changing their verses and y'all ain't even know that. Because he was on a song with, I think he said he was on a song with Black Thought. I think his song was called Good Morning or something.
Okay.
And he said, yeah, motherfucker went and changed his verse. After they heard my shit.
I don't blame him. My Killer Mike be bringing some heat.
Yeah, he
Killer
does.
Mike is a problem.
But it was a lot of competition back then. You don't hear that type of stories with these motherfuckers today.
Nah.
But even when you go back to LL, right? LL and Cannabis. You know what I'm saying?
Legendary.
Dog, the nigga heard the verse and had to go over his verse again. You feel me?
That went left. That went real left. But yeah.
That shit was crazy.
Because it was about MCing. Now, see, verses are just about a check.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Drop me that 50, 80K, whatever, 150K, depending on who it is. Just drop me the check, and I'm gonna just, come on your track and say whatever. A lot of times, it's just a fucking bunch of ad libs and bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Back then, it was about the craft.
Correct.
It was about the craft. It was about the culture. It was about coming the hardest you could on that shit. You understand?
100%.
Like, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I've said this a million times. I'll say it a million more. We start talking about people rewriting verses. People want to give Drake all these props. People want to give Lil Wayne all these props, and even Kanye to an extent. He kind of gets a pass because he's a producer. But when y'all heard Eminem come on Forever, and you niggas didn't get back in there and rewrite your verses, really? All y'all niggas get a side eye from me. Because Eminem dish ragged y'all on the song and said that he did it in the verse. And none of y'all ain't do shit. Bro, I don't respect that. I was legit mad about that shit. You dig?
Forever.
What song was that?
Forever.
It may not mean nothing to y'all, but understand that
for
me.
What? Eminem dish ragged all of them on that song.
Yeah.
It sounded like an intermediate, an advanced rapper, a superior rapper against a bunch of rappers who just made it to intermediate status. You know, like Lil Wayne's verse was just straight up whack to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that
Drake.
was.
He murdered Jay-Z on his track though.
Oh
That's
yeah, he did. Just what I'm saying. Eminem. People say what they want to say about him. You know what I'm saying? Eminem gets busy. You dig? That motherfucker can spit. Care what nobody say. His color aside, he gets busy. And Jay's verses were dope on that record. I feel like Jay should have rewritten his verses on that record too. And Jay-Z is the best rapper alive as far as I'm concerned at the moment. You understand? But on that song, I keep it real. I'm not a fan. I'm gonna tell it like it is. Eminem got his ass on that song. It just is what it is.
Undoubtedly, that I can co-sign 100%. He definitely got in his ass.
Bruh, it is what it is. To me, he should have went home and rewrote his verse. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think he could have rewrote any verse that shit was just an epic verse, man.
That's true too. Sometimes, well, okay, good point. Good point. Because
like, okay,
listen,
just like you know what's another epic verse that he did that just I don't give a fuck who was on that. They would have got crushed.
Ooh.
And that's the forgot about Drake.
Oh,
Forgot about Drake. Oh,
he went in on that shit.
Dog, he fucking crushed.
Eminem is dangerous, bro.
Murdered that.
Look,
Mixtape murdered that.
Eminem is dangerous. That's all I'm gonna say. Let me tell you, because when you say that, people start talking about, oh, he's white and he raps about a bunch of weird shit. A lot of these people rap about a bunch of weird shit that I can't relate to. You know, a lot of these rappers, they rap about being junkies and, you know, fucking promiscuous women. I can't relate to that shit, but it sounds good, right? Okay. Eminem's issue. Eminem has a few blemishes. He has a few flaws. His subject matter, yeah, sometimes it gets a little way out and you just can't follow his ass. Okay, fine. He chooses some garbage beats sometimes, and sometimes his hook writing is very suspect. Okay, so he has flaws too. I'm not saying he's the greatest of all time by any means, but do the boy got skills? Do he gets busy? Yes. That's the long and short of it. Anybody come argue me on that point. Nice is nice. I'm not gonna sit up here and make up shit for you. You know what I'm saying? Because you're white and I'm trying to keep you from getting shine. Nah, he's nice. There's plenty of other white rappers out there that, you know what I'm saying, they can't rap worth a damn. You know what I'm saying? But the boy's nice. What you gonna say? Like you said on that Forgot About Dre, he murdered that shit. Yeah, and a few other tracks. You know, but what I respect the most about him, you know what I'm saying? He don't put on no black scent, be trying to sound like some shit he's not. You know what I'm saying? He's a white boy that know how to rap, and that's how he sounds.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I can deal with that.
That I tip my hat to. That I definitely could tip my hat to.
Yeah, I respect that. And you know, just the fact that he don't be out here rapping about a bunch of shit he don't know nothing about. You know, he ain't out here, you know, rap about keys and, you know, bricks and all this shit. Which, by the way, a lot of these rappers who rap about that shit, they don't know nothing about it either. But that's a whole other conversation. You know, but dude stays in his lane. He's put a gang of black people on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I had a little problem with his ass back in the day when the information came out about him making that racist record, whatever. He owned it, came out, apologized for it. Hey, I did that shit when I was 15. It's fucked up. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? But I don't understand a lot of people when they bug up their ass about Eminem just because he's a white guy who knows how to rap.
The one issue that I would take with him is that, and I don't know so much if it's really him.
Yeah.
Because that's something else that people need to be mindful about in general, where sometimes the person that you have static with, it's not really them, but it's other forces around them. I think a lot of the conflict is where it seems as though the industry is really trying, and white supremacy really trying to push him as the flagship artist, as one of the GOATs of all time for hip hop music now. Whether he has the juice to pull those strings, I don't think so.
No.
And I don't know if he'd even be aware if that's what's going on behind the scenes or if he would even care. But I don't believe that's on him. And I know recently I've had issues with other people where there's beef, there's confusion. Then when we actually sat down and talked and decided to find out, oh, it's not even you that we got a problem with. It's the way it's somebody that wasn't even involved in this directly that's
Precisely.
responsible for this beef that we got going on. So,
Precisely.
you know, if he's being pushed, if they're trying to include him in everything and make him a focal point of everything, then can't really put too much towards him. You got to look at the ones that's behind the scenes pulling those strings. It's easy
Real
to
talk.
jump at the ones who are in front. So, and but like you said, he's not really trying to be anyone other than who he is for the most part. At least not that I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And to a large extent, that's why that's some of the criticism that he's had. Like, well, I can't relate to his music. I know I can. I've never fantasized about trying to kill my mother. I've never tried to go ahead and, you know, murder the mother of my children, nothing like that. I can't relate to a lot of that stuff.
Dude is
But
insane.
he's been based off of what he knows.
Yeah.
And for better or for worse, people will either accept him or reject him based on
Right.
that. But he's standing on the square. And that has to be respected.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
There's two.
gotta
there's
gotta
two-
look at the bigger picture in some cases.
There's two
Right.
people I want to give credit for talking about Eminem. Two people I want to give credit for is Supernatural, phenomenal lyricist,
MC
Agreed.
Yeah.
freestyler, and
Mhm.
the other one is Craig G, who is responsible for doing the battle verses on his movie 8 Mile.
Mm.
Very talented ghostwriter.
I didn't know Craig G. You talking about the Craig G from the
Craig
Juice
G,
Crew?
Yes.
What?
Craig G. Yes.
I
heard
did not know
I
that
heard
he was
a while
behind
ago.
that.
Yeah.
I heard that a while ago.
I found out about that. I was like, oh wow. I thought M did it. Nah,
Yeah.
it was like Craig G did it. I was like, yeah. But you know, Craig G was one of the supreme battlers. So it stands to reason, you know, it makes sense.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Craig G's a legend in the game too. He
Oh,
was on the
yeah,
original
yeah.
symphony.
Yeah.
I
You remember
mean-
him and Supernatural went at it, and that was like that was before we had this King of the Ring and all this other stuff that we got now with the underground. So
Yeah.
they had an epic battle in New York. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta look that up.
Craig G came out with that one. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Very super dope dude, man. My hats go off to Craig G. They definitely need to do a biopic on Craig G because dude's a goat.
No
Dude's a
doubt.
goat.
Shout out to Craig G. I did not know that Craig G was still around. I did not know.
Yeah.
But I remember him from back in the days, like back in the 80s. I didn't know he was
Yeah.
still around and that he'd come back in that form. You know what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
when and this is another thing. This is another point that M gets. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
M knows where the culture is,
Mhm.
and he goes there. Look at some of the people that M surround himself with: Dr. Dre, Craig G, 50 Cent. Come on, bro.
Correct.
You know, and the one problem I have with M that he pissed me off, you know, and I don't know if this is him or others, but he never really put, from what I understand or from what I hear, he never really put a battery in the back of Slaughterhouse.
Mm.
I love Slaughterhouse. I think Slaughterhouse could have been fucking, man, all these bum ass rappers that we got out here today and they bullshit. I think Slaughterhouse could have been a serious response from the lyrical faction of hip hop to these clowns. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, them boys was lethal. And from what I understand, he never really gave them that push, you know, to, you know, get them to the next level like that. But man, this guy he put a lot of brothers on. I don't have a problem with him. But Lord Jamar sure as hell does. Some other cats, they do not like this dude. And I love Lord Jamar. I'm a big fan of Brand New being Lord Jamar, but I just be laughing my ass off because sometimes I want to call in and ask, Jamar, do you actually listen to this cat? You know, or have you heard a few? Because he does have a few songs where he's just, you know, just babbling, right? Like, you know, there's some songs where Okay, yeah, Eminem, he just be saying some crazy shit that just don't really make sense or whatever. But those songs are kind of few and far between. He has some songs that are real masterpieces. And I'm wondering if Lord Jabbar ever really sat down and listened to him. The dude is dope, man. It is what
Yeah.
it is. And there are other rappers of other ethnicities that are dope. Shit, Pun was dope. While we're at it, Pun was dope. I
Mhm.
think Fat Joe is dope. He need to stop running around talking about how hip hop was started 50-50 with Latinos. That's bullshit. But Fat Joe is dope.
Yeah.
Big Pun
Yeah,
is dope. What's
Big
his
Yeah.
Pun,
name? The
yes.
other homie. Oh, we got some comments. Supernatural used to Merc stage shows with the old Sway and Tech in the
Yeah,
mid
wake up
'90s.
show.
Okay, real talk, real talk. Shit,
Yeah,
Craig G is
Pun.
the damn truth. You ain't told no lie, Mister
Fat
Ted.
Joe never did it for me. He was I just never resonated with me. But
Uh,
um, Pun was that dude.
okay, Pun was
Cuban Link.
ridiculous.
I love Cuban Link.
I've
Shout
never
out.
really listened to Cuban Link. He's dope.
He's dope. I love the 24K album.
Okay.
Some of the features that he's on was real solid. The issue and as far as music goes, Fat Joe's never clicked with me. But one of the things reasons why I dislike Fat Joe as a person
Mm,
is the way he conducted business with Terror Squad and everything. Because pretty much before Joe came along, Joe came and brought Pun and everything into Terror Squad crew and
hmm
everything. But for the longest time, Big Pun and Cuba Link were like brothers, like inseparable, like that was family, whatever.
Okay.
And for the most part, Joe never really liked Link. But
hmm
he's like, I got Pun. I know he's a huge star. I want to keep him happy. I want to keep him alive. So, he went ahead and opened the door for Link as well too.
Yeah.
As soon as Joe passed, he shut Link out of everything.
As soon as you mean Pun pass.
Yeah, as soon as he passed, cut him off of everything.
Oh,
Just yanked the cart right off on him,
that's
and he
not
was never
cool.
really able to gain traction out of that. And it was
Mm,
really, really foul. There was
uh,
also other complaints about how he mishandled business, but he was. It was very suspect the way he conducted business after Pun move. It was like almost like he pretty much came and just bogarted everything. Um,
I've heard
so
that.
I never liked him for that. Yeah, that was really foul.
Oh
Mm.
no,
So
I hear you. It's some cats that I don't rock with just because some of the stuff they did was just kind of green too. You know what I'm saying? I think that kind of falls in the vein of what you're saying there. You know what I'm saying? Some cats in hip hop, like I will just never. I can't listen to them because I can't take them seriously. Like, you know what I mean? This little green shit they did. And I don't know the particulars, but I hear what you're saying. I've heard
mm,
similar things because for whatever reason, his family don't care for him.
oh
Pun's
yeah,
family don't care for Joe like that or whatever. So, I mean, it is what it is. I try to stay with the music. I try to stick with just the music. Joe musically's been pretty solid. Whatever. Joel Ortiz is another Latino rapper that I rock with from
shout out to
Slaughterhouse.
Drill
That
Teams.
boy is nice. It's some. So yeah, it's some. People like to say, oh, we hate people of other races, rapping or whatever. And, you know, you can't um say that only black people know how to rap. I don't think anyone's saying that, but a lot of times, people come along with the cultural appropriation hustle and, with their disrespect, and we just not having that shit. That's why I can't. I've been a Busta Rhymes fan for a very long time, but Busta Rhymes has been running around saying a lot of very disrespectful things about foundational Black Americans and our culture. He said something. I sent y'all the video clip where he's talking about how
Yeah,
Americans ain't got no culture and their shit is our shit, and like, what the fuck you bring your ass over here for then? You understand what I'm saying?
right,
Like, no, Americans do have a culture.
Yeah.
Black
right.
Americans are the culture. And the culture that you are borrowing from and that you're a guest in, hip hop culture is Black American culture. You understand what I'm saying? Like, for that reason, I just can't even listen. Like, yo, I deleted my Busta Rhymes playlist. I got so mad.
I'm
You know what I'm saying? Because it's
I'm
like,
so
dude,
disappointed, dude. But
what is
you
wrong
know,
with this nigga? And he
Like this
keeps
is it. You
repeating this
got to
shit.
watch these old niggas.
He keeps repeating this shit like he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
You understand? Like,
And
no.
it's especially disrespectful because the funny thing about Busta is
Mm-hmm.
for as long as I've been listening to him, I'm talking
Yeah.
about listening from his back catalog all the way back from his organized fusion days
Yeah.
to present. It was only about
This is a new school.
2023 now. It was only about in the late 2010s that I even knew that Busta was Jamaican.
Agreed.
That was a shock for me. I'm like, man, your whole career just about you've been FBA, or at least in terms of the way you sound. Now all of a sudden you get put on a couple of tracks with some Caribbean folks, whatever. You start bringing out
It's
some patch on your
insane.
verse, and you just discover you're Jamaican all of a sudden. Now all of a sudden, FBA had no culture.
It's insane. And what's
Like-
so wild, I hear you on that. What's so wild to me, later on in that same clip, he goes on, this is the coon gene in action. This is where I have a real problem. Because now you cooning. Later on in that same clip, he goes on to talk about how he got comfortable with putting his West Indian, culture into his music because he heard Latinos doing it. He heard Latinos putting the Latin stuff in the music, and therefore he got more comfortable, and he felt as though Black Americans didn't blow your ass up, nigga, when nobody knew who the fuck you was. And as though Black Americans talk down on you whenever you put your Jamaican culture in your music. Black Americans never shitted on Busta Rhymes and said, "Oh, get that Jamaican bullshit out of here." That
But
never
that's
happened.
also supreme cap. Talk about you didn't get comfortable until you heard later on you heard the Latinos infusing their culture in the rap music. Sir,
What is this nigga talking about?
I'm pretty damn sure Christopher Rios, Big Pun,
Yeah.
was active in the early 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I'm
Capital
just saying.
Punishment,
Just saying.
the first Latino to win a platinum album
Uh-huh.
in the hip hop rap category. That was early in your, for the most part, that was early in your career. So you
Right.
heard other artists dropping bars. One of the most notable pun bars ever. You ain't even in mi clase.
Yeah. Real talk.
Man's dropping Spanish all up in his music. Terror Squad dropping Spanish in their
On
music, and other
every
Latino artists.
song. On the hook. Boricua, Morena, Boricua. And on the hook.
And all y'all New Yorkers. So did you just happen to miss this whole era? What?
And
But-
shout out to Big Pun.
but
Big
the
Pun kept it
lies.
real. Big Pun thanked Black people for welcoming
Yes.
Latinos into hip hop. He didn't come out and say no bullshit like they created hip hop 50-50. He thanked Black people for welcoming Latinos, Boricuas in particular, into hip hop. Find the clip. It's out there.
The
I
OG
respect the hell out of
of
that.
Latino rap. Latino
Yeah.
rap. The OG right there. The
Even back in the
trailblazer.
days. Look, even back in the days, Black Americans have always loved hip hop mixed with West Indian culture. Ghetto Red Hot by Supercat. He has a reggae version. The version that blew up was the hip hop version. We are rude. Why you throwing a tech back no chat? That shit. The version that blew up was the hip hop version. Okay, what's his name? Mad Lion. They used to be down with BDP. Too many songs and not enough time, nigga. What? Yo, the history of reggae artists collaborating with hip hop artists and contributing to the culture is a rich one. You understand what I'm saying? No one's
Right.
saying that Latinos or Jamaicans or anybody else didn't contribute. But to sit up here and say that you created it, y'all niggas lying.
You
Stop.
all have been, you all
And I-
are and always have been guests in the art form.
That's it.
And don't get it twisted, the contributions have been liked and appreciated and respected. However, you are still guests. Ain't
Yeah,
nobody gave you no house key.
right.
You ain't got no parking pass. Ain't
Real
nobody
talk.
gave you the garage door codes.
Real talk. Real
So you
talk.
smelling yourself too much. Calm all that down. Take that bass out your voice. You don't
Listen,
pay no bills under this roof.
real talk. And I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like I said, Black Americans are typically very accepting of whatever works. If it sounds good, they fuck with it. Mellow Man Ace, back in the days, came out with a song where he's rapping in Spanish, mentirosa. Today you tell me some, y mañana otra cosa, mentirosa. That shit was jamming, dog. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
that was a big record. This is a Hispanic guy incorporating his Hispanic culture in the hip hop. It sounded good. You know what I'm saying? And perhaps to the detriment of a lot of black people don't really give a fuck, where it comes from or what it's mixed with. All we care about is that it sounds good. And sometimes we probably should safeguard the culture a little better and
Right.
gatekeep it to keep some of these damn outsiders out that want to come in and be disrespectful and lie on the damn culture. But it is what it is. It's what we stand. But yeah, that's real talk, man. Black folks are very welcoming of anybody into the culture that's got the talent and the passion to want to do it. Generally,
Definitely. Um, Drake, you got your five. I want to get your five. You said you got your top five in or something like that.
Right. Oh yeah. So my five with me, it's always tricky because sometimes it really depends on the day. Things just rotate.
Mhm.
Because there's just so much out there. But I'm just gonna like first one is, and I was gonna actually say one that made a swipe from me, but I still managed to find a way to incorporate them in. For me, Pharaoh Monch is gonna be in the list. Really,
okay,
Most Def. But he did a song I mentioned before. It was the song that initially caused me to fall in love with hip hop. My first actual exposure to hip hop, and what caused me to fall in love was "Oh No" with Most Def, Nate Dogg, and Pharoah Monch. It's a dope classic album. You had two East Coast, two New York brothers, Pharoah Monch and Most Def, and then linking up with huge sensation on the West Coast, Nate Dogg, coming together to make a beautiful track. And again, we just talk about the love and the passion, just the demonstration of we're here. We gonna make some noise. You gonna feel us. You gonna recognize where we're coming from. You understand that it's not a game. That we're something to take serious. Just the swag, the braggadocio, just the pride. When I heard it, it someone might as well just stab the needle with the heroin in my arm and just drop the plunger on me.
mm,
When I heard that, I'm like, I don't know what this is. I need more immediately. Post
yeah,
haste, let's go.
okay,
And everything was solid. But when when Most came in for the first verse, it was like, okay, so this is smooth, this is real thorough.
mm,
But Pharaoh just came in just karate kicking everything. Like if he was moving, he was dropping his feet on it. He's like, man, he's like, and but the lyricism, that's what really threw me off because up at that point I'd always been a big reader. I love to read. I was anything that had words on it, I was always reading at that point. So I knew words very well. I had a huge vocabulary back then. I was reading books that were way above my age range. So
Mm.
me and vocabulary, we was like this. And when I'm hearing not just these high level words, but these components and the way they've been strung together, I'm like, I've never heard anything in literature like this. This is amazing. Because I heard pop music, I heard some Latin music, I've heard some rock music, but I've never heard anything this intellectual and it sounds this fire. I'm like, man, I can't get just like he was talking about. He's like, very contagious rap should be trapped in cages through stages of whackness. Pharaoh's raps are blazing and it amazes me how you go two ways without SkyTel pages. That section right there, I'm like,
stupid.
what did he say?
What?
Like, you go two ways without Sky. Like, oh. I mean, there's just so many switches that were being flipped on my brain.
Yeah,
I was using parts of my brain that I didn't even know I had, just trying to digest all this, but it was so amazing. And it instantly started edifying me off the top. And at that point, I was really discovering music as a whole because I was getting into bands. So I was going from a place where I'm listening to music, where now I'm creating music. So at this point, this is around sixth grade for me. I was getting a whole crash course in music. I'm listening to quality music. I'm learning how to create music, actual, not just sing, but actual creating music, playing instruments and everything else. And then I started beginning to write at this time using poetry, writing songs and everything, putting stuff together. So everything is just being built in me and cultivating me at this point. So it was a whole genesis at this point where I started really discovering just not how important music was, but what all music can be, what it actually does for you, and how it's such a vital component for life.
No
So that was
doubt.
my first one. The next one I would touch into would be Tupac for sure. So Tupac, I definitely have in my top five. Where it can bounce around sometimes. Sometimes might be number three, could be five today. But Tupac, just for being a total package, he was never really known as being a very lyrical rapper per se. But I definitely feel like he had when you start talking about those intangibles, he also had a heart element. Like what he might have lacked in the track in terms of vocabulary, metaphors, similes, those different elements. He made it with heart. Like you felt where he was coming from. The impact
Hmm.
sometimes that charisma that can really sometimes take on just as much of an impact as anything else. And for me, the song that always really demonstrated, and I think it was the song where he might have been at his best too, was "Until the End of Time." And just the whole way he rode the beat, just the depth, the lyrics, the storytelling, just the emotion that was conveyed. And to this day, anytime I'm feeling down or I'm just not even down, but just reflecting, just like in a pensive state of mind, I put that song on. I just to kind of like zone out a little bit, and the depth that he went into with the track was just really thorough. I love the fact that they had RL on the song. I think he's a perfect accompaniment for it on the track.
Hmm.
Shout out to RL Huggard. Dope dude. The work that he did with Rough Ends, and he also has some writing credits on a number of other hit songs as well too. So one of those guys that's might be known for one thing, but really had a lot of influence in R&B in that time as well too. Big ups to him.
Hmm.
But that's my one for Tupac. Next song, tapping back again, I got to go to Outkast and their contributions. For me, and there's so many different songs that you can point to, but I know you guys covered a lot of the older stuff, so I am trying to tap into some of the
Sure.
not recent as in 5 years ago, but some of the more modern hip hop that's out there.
Hmm.
Was the Art of Storytelling Part 4.
Mm.
Now, you know, we all know it's no secret, Big Boy, Andre, they got bars, they got songs. But when I heard that track, and I like DJ Drama anyways. I like DJ Drama's overall style and attitude. I like how he really represents the tracks that he's a part of. Sometimes you have these DJs or these guys like DJ Khaled who hop on tracks, and I feel like they don't really contribute anything, or they're just there for hype purposes.
Hmm.
Drama to me, even when he's just doing like his little, talking portions, he's just, narrating or just doing his little, whatever at the top of the track, maybe midway or towards the end. I always feel like he imparts something to it. It never
Okay.
feels isolated or like he's doing just do it. It always feels he's not ad we the best or this is mute. No, it feels like he's really doing something to kind of shepherd the song and make it personal. So I always
Okay.
appreciated that out of him.
Okay.
But that whole song, man, and the way Andre kicked it off, just savage. I'm watching her fine ass walk to my bedroom. I thought to myself, that's the shape of things that come. She said, why in the club you don't make it precipitate? You don't make it rain when you don't make a thunderstorm. I'm like, why? The world needs sun. The hood needs
Yeah.
funds. There's a war going on. I have to battle his guns. How dare I throw it on the floor when people are poor? So I write like Edgar Allan to restore. Got a cord umbilical attached to a place that can't afford no landscaping or window draping. This old lady said that if you ain't got nothing good, say Nathan. That's why I don't talk much. I swear it don't cost much to pay attention to me. I tell it like it is, and I tell her how it could be. And
Yeah.
Big Boy's verse is no different. He comes after,
Yeah,
and
he
there's no
nasty.
drop off. Just the
Nasty.
damage that was done on that whole song.
Yeah.
And the beat was stirred, but it wasn't anything heavy. Wasn't mad 808s, but everything was simplistic, but so thorough.
Mm-hmm.
Fine details, so much nuance. And again, those intangible things that you might not even be able to put a finger on. You might not even be able to name what it was that occurred. But it's undoubtable that something extra was done here, here, and there. You know, those are those moments that it's like lightning in a bottle. You know, you might never be able to get that same effect again. You might get another one, you might get a great one, but it's never going to be that right there. That to me was just an excellent example of who Outkast is, who Andre is, who Big Boy is.
Mhm.
And I think, again, as they always do, they really did a wonderful job of really letting everyone know that, you know, New York, hip hop ain't just in New York. We got hip hop
Real
south of
talk.
the Mason-Dixon line as well. So
Real talk.
big ups to them.
Well said. Well said.
Other cat kind of tickled it, but you didn't name him. So thankfully you left that one for me.
Okay.
Our brother from Philadelphia, he does not get nearly enough credit that he deserves for his elite high level lyricism. And if we're just talking straight up lyricism,
Mm-hmm.
just the art of rhyme saying
Mm-hmm.
and spitboxing,
Yeah.
if Black Thought isn't at least in consideration for number one,
Mm.
Mm.
then he better be a no-brainer for number two.
Okay. Wow.
If
Okay.
if wordsmithing, if wordplay, if lyrics are weapons, I don't know if that brother is ever out of a fight.
Mm. Okay. Okay.
You know, he's done a lot of dope stuff with the Roots and everything, but just in terms of, and I don't know if he has, and just skip my notice, but I sincerely pray that one day Thought just does a solo album. And if he did do one song, please let me know. But I think he just loves collaboration so much. He likes, you know, the whole overall band flow and everything. I think that's just where his heart is. But
Mm-hmm.
I need him just to just a him and him alone album. But for me, the song that really let everyone know that this man's a problem, it's not even a song. It's when he hopped on Hot 105 and he dropped that legendary 10-minute, I think if I remember right, it's over I think it's like over 2,000 word freestyle.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it was, first off, if anyone's ever done forget doing a song, if anyone's ever done poetry, you know, and you've done anything that's longer than 3 minutes, sometimes even just shorter than 3 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in combination of being in front of other people, whether it's on the stage or whatever, your throat gonna get a little parched.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
might need to pause. You might need to collect yourself. You might need to, you know, lubricate your lips a little bit. Pause. Might need to kind of get your vocal cords, you know,
Mm-hmm.
hydrated and moisturized so you can continue. This man went 10 minutes, no break,
Mm.
like it wasn't nothing. And the whole thing is crazy, yo.
Like that?
Random part. I'm sorry for your loss. It's a body dead in the car, and it's probably one of yours. The writing all across the window and the walls, whether it was true or false, we shouldn't have got involved. Remember, we walked past the teacher, take the chalk and laugh. We wrote punishments. I went on talking class. Now it's pistols punishing people for talking fast. And all these innocent bystanders is hauling ass. I hate to say I told y'all, but I told y'all. Things fall apart when they send him 2 weeks to hold y'all. I'm just collecting what you owe to my old John. You about to get swooped down on and stoled on. Fools swear they're wise. Wise men know they foolish. Well, we was headed for the web even before computers. I never thought you'd give me your reason to do this. Cain and Abel, Jesus and Judas, Caesar and Brutus. I see intruders, avert your eyes. I told you, keep out the hood. Circumcised.
Wow. Wow.
And I have to leave it there because if I keep going, I won't stop because, I mean, it is the beginning from the end is just consistent. And that's another thing, consistency in songwriting. You know, it's very easy to have, you know, one strong section and then a drop off and maybe you pick it up elsewhere or this one verse here, but just consistently throughout.
Mm-hmm.
And even when you can kind of tell, like, you know, he's kind of getting a little tired or whatever, there's very little decline in what's being produced, but we're talking about just coming from the soul, the spirit, and it's not just head stuff. There's a lot of intellectual that's coming in there, but there's also a lot of, that old school sage wisdom that your grandma, your grandpa might have given you, some good jewels, some hood wisdom that's being knocked up in there as well too. So, elite demonstration of hip hop performance and artistry and content. My last joint, of course, he always has to be on the list. He's always got to be number one. Nas.
Okay.
Definitely.
Not just throughout hip hop, but
The
throughout
best rapper,
music,
the
period.
best rapper out right now.
Yeah, I
Number
think
one
he's
all
definitely up
time
there.
for me.
Okay.
And I gotta say, and I'm a person who's always been, because again, like I said before, when I was coming up, hip hop wasn't something I was growing up with. It's something I came into later on. So I have a background listening to all kinds of music, everything rock, jazz, classical, world music. Sometimes I just go ahead and bump on foreign songs. I don't even know the words, but just the vibe and the feeling to it, I can get behind. So I listen to everything. And out of all the music I listen to, there has been no artist that has had a bigger impact on my life than Nas. That
That's a great
Godson
pick.
album alone, that Godson album all by itself, single-handedly helped get me through middle school and high school, early years. There was some rough times that happened back then that was going on. Just so much life music. Again, we talked about you going through things, you feel like you might not have anyone in your corner, you might not have a way to express certain things, or you might not even know how to process what you're going through. During that time, the answer was Nas. Just if it was a Jeopardy question, what is Nas? That is correct.
No doubt.
So
Nas
always
was a
that
bad
for
boy.
me. But yeah, dude, his discography could probably, in every respect, be the soundtrack to my life in one way, shape, form, or another.
Yeah.
That's dope.
For me, one of the favorite songs, one of the most impactful songs, I bumped into it. It was on the Streets Disciple album, I think. And it first became powerful to me when one of my little brothers, and my good friends back in the day, had passed away. He had gotten into his mother's closet, and he had picked up a handgun that she had, and he ended up shooting himself.
Mm.
And there was a lot of controversy behind the whole situation. No one knew what happened. No one knew he was just playing with it, and it went off. He'd also gone through a really rough breakup at the time, and he was taken very rough. So we didn't know if it was suicide. We didn't know if it was an honest mistake, whatever. But I'll never forget when I heard the news I was getting picked up from school, and when my mother told me the information. And to this day, I had like a lot of loss in my life, but I've never responded the way I did in that moment, because he was a ray of sunshine, man. He was that bright spot. When I found out, before I could even get in the car, I literally collapsed on the ground and I was just sobbing, like whole heart coming out of my chest. I was broken when I heard that.
Yeah, that's
and as usual, at this point in time, I had already been established. When there's a question, go look through some Nas. The answer's in there somewhere. And it wasn't when he passed, but it was during one of the anniversaries, because it happened later on. I stumbled on the song they did with Quan called Just a Moment. And to this day, anytime it's just my rituals, just my way of coping, my process. Anytime someone significant to me passes away, there's several songs that I will only play throughout the whole day, throughout the whole week leading up there, from the funeral on back. And it's my way of processing grieving. Even when I don't feel like crying, if I don't have it in me to shed tears, it lets me vent in that way. And again, I don't know if I'd have been able to process things and make sense of things the way I did if it wasn't for that song. And that's Just a Moment.
dope.
And this brother, and I like how Nas took this guy. I think he's still making I think he goes by Don Furquan now, but back then it was just Quan. And Quan kicked on, was like, can we please have a moment of silence? That's what my niggas do in years of confinement, and for my soldiers that passed over, no longer living, that couldn't run whenever the reaper came to get him. Can we please pour out some liquor, symbolizing let's take time to consider that Though our thugs ain't here, the love is here. And we gonna rap till slugs kill us here. This for my dogs stuck in the struggle, trying to gain. Smoking trauma, stiffing raw while selling cocaine. Trapped in the game, not knowing how to stop and get by. To live alive, so instead they live to die. Can we please have a moment of peace? For every G that fell for his flag in the streets, blood in the thug and folk in the local, crippin' and creeping, Latin the king, and this a poor righteous teaching. And then it goes and just says, as day comes and night falls, for the rest of our lives we miss y'all. And even though life must go on, we still mourn while wishing y'all were home. And, the whole thing is just, again, talking about hip hop being more than just music, more about just flashing cars and materialism and everything else, but songs that really touch and reach people.
Right.
Because if hip hop was only about those things, talk about how many VVS's I got on my chain, I get hella bitches, I get mad hoes, or money, this, that. If that's all hip hop was about, there's no way that it would become as big as it is today.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no way that we'd be celebrating 50 years, 54 more years of
Mm-hmm.
hip hop and everything. Because that's not sustainable. You can't make a life off of that.
Right.
It'll have a little runtime, and that's why you see some of these trends that pop out, these little trends that come in music where people rap a certain way or talk about a certain thing, and eventually it goes off the wayside, the one-hit wonders.
Mm.
But actual hip-hop, it will always remain, whether it's music that's being played at somebody's barbecue or graduation, or songs that you play, commemorating loved ones, whether it's things like Dear Mama or whatever.
Yeah.
Hip hop is immortal because it actually gets inside your spirit and your soul, and you can't, whatever's inside the soul that impacts you there, you can't just remove that.
So
Yeah.
For me, Nas has been that artist, and I believe that's also the reason why he's had the longevity that he's had.
mm-hmm.
He came out, Illmatic dropped in, what was that, 91?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
here we are. And from the 90s, hella active, the thousands, hella active, the tens, hella active.
Yeah.
In the 20s, hella active. Already got about 2 or 3 projects out already in this
Mhm.
decade. And all finding commercial success. He's there. He's, doing collaborations and working with other artists. He has a whole bunch of newer cats on his label, Mass Appeal and everything. He's always relevant. And he never seems like he's out of his time, like he's a dinosaur that just hasn't passed off yet. He's always found ways to stay relevant. And I think a large part of that is because he's always opted for style as opposed to fashion.
Mm.
He'll drop some new bits, he'll drop some newer terminology that, wasn't talked about back then. He used some newer terms, I remember off of the first King's Disease, he dropped that track with A Boogie to the Hoodie, YKTV, the vibes.
Yeah.
I'm like, what Nas know about the vibes? Okay.
Mhm.
But he's waxing on these topics, and he doesn't sound like the old dude that just, trying to be hip. I got game.
Yeah.
Recognize game, Brandon. I got game.
Yeah. Yeah. He's
That's never
with
been
it.
him. So
Yeah.
it's hard to do that and be that.
Mhm.
So for me, that's why he's always number one on my list. Honorary mention. He did most of his damage in a good way in the thousands to the tens, but everyone remembers how Papoose took over the airwaves without even having an album that dropped.
Mhm.
And to date, his most popular, most well-known track, Alphabetical Slaughter, where again, you're talking about picking up the elements,
Lights out.
dropping a freestyle using nothing but alliteration.
Sick. Sick.
Even letters like Q and stuff, man. Ain't no words around with Q. What's it gonna do? Still managed to get 3 or 4 jabs in there. C and
Mhm.
stuff, and it all makes sense. But just showcasing that dexterity, the lyricism of mine, classic stuff. But even his songs, he had some solid ones too. There is a song that he did with Bust, and I've never had success finding it. I think it was on a mixtape, which is why. I think it might be the Funkmaster Flex joint. But called Drop It with Busta Rhymes. And
Okay.
man, that was nasty, nasty track, man.
Like that?
Just really dope. He's like, it's like, oh yeah, I did have written down. It's like a gun of mine, a mind a gun. Define which one is the surviving one. You say the mind's it means to survive and define it, son. Rappers use the mind, sense the mind behind the gun. The mind refines the dumb, guarding them for time to come. Drop it, son. Gun of mine, a mind a gun. Define which one is the surviving one. You said the guns it means to survive and define it, son. Where you get your power from when drama comes behind the gun. Power is money, money's power. And then he goes and gets political and shows that, he can do more than just rap about the streets. It's like, mind over matter.
Silly.
You need common sense so you can analyze and study current events. Politics got me sick to my stomach. I'm feeling nausea. Can't go to Atlantic City to get my dollars up. The casino shut down from the bottom up. Lost a lot of money out there. Feel like they're robbing us. The governor, he a billionaire. He got a lot of bucks. Guess all the money he made is just not enough. Suicidal bombers in and out of LaGuardia. Governor Cozine scared of the mafia. His way the highway, no hesitation. It's about to be a political assassination. And they say the terrorist that plans to blow the Holland up, push the water into Manhattan to flood the island up. They say it can't happen. Man, they always lie to us. The Hudson River got enough water to fucking swallow us. So, going back to those NWA Public Enemy days where, again, we wasn't checking for CNN, NBC, whatever. We turned to rap music. Hip hop, again, was the journalist of the streets. So tapping into that, relaying on some of the and I remember what happened back then when they did catch those terrorists. I think when Wicked 9/11, and supposedly the working theory was that what happened with the trade tower, that was only the beginning. It's supposed to be a whole lot of other things that happened. And one of the events that they said that was full was supposedly there was a plan to blow up the Holland Tower, the Holland Tunnel. Excuse me, that goes under the Hudson, I believe.
Right.
But around that time, they're still trying to play all that information close to the chest. So no, it wasn't that bad, because they don't want people panicking. He's like, nah, man, you talk about this can't happen. Even if they were successful, it wasn't gonna be damaged. He's like, dude, this is the tunnel that connects Manhattan. If this thing floods, it's the whole Hudson that's pouring in. There's plenty of damage that's going to wreck the whole city or whatever. So, again, that transparency and that real talk, which is what made groups like Public Enemy and NWA so powerful, is because nobody's trying to filter anything or censor anything. For good or for bad, better or worse, it's the raw, honest truth.
Yeah.
And a lot of these artists were and are to this day still considered more reliable than a lot of these other figures. There's some people who, if Chuck D comes on the mic, if Cube gets on the mic, they will listen to what they have to say before they listen to any journalist. That's because, they find out so many times these people are covering them stuff to make the editors happy, whatever. But these artists, they have no master.
Exactly. And they're incredible.
The master is the people. That's who they have that allegiance to. So they don't owe Turner Broadcasting.
Right.
They don't owe Rupert Murdoch anything. Their loyalties to the streets. And so, just going into, again, what hip hop is supposed to be and what it represents and everything, that's what it boils down to. So those are my five, technically my six. And that's by no means the whole list. Some of them really aren't even top five either, but again, just standing out in terms of significance and the way that they've represented the culture, the art form, the lifestyle, and what it really means to say that you are hip hop, that you're a part of hip hop, that you're an ambassador for hip hop.
Real talk. Real talk.
Yeah.
Very well said.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so that's what we have you guys wrapped up for the hip hop. Hopefully that you guys took in the session, and a lot of the songs you guys probably might not have heard of before. So go check it out. Get in tune with some of the great lyricists and artists of hip hop. Some of the great what you call the holy grail of the groundwork of what was established. You know what I'm saying? We gave you a lot of artists that really put in a lot of work and really pushed the culture forward in a creative way. So go ahead and find it out. Do your own digging, research, and start listening. And trust me, you will appreciate a lot of the lyrics that you read or you hear from these artists. So with that being said, we're definitely going to go into our next segment for the night before we get out of here.
Yo,
And you guys already know it's the hell yeah and hell no. All
let's
right,
go.
let's go. Let's get it. Let's
Yeah.
run through it. All right. So here we go. All right. First up, Flan.
Hell no.
Flan.
Hell no.
The dessert.
Flan is okay. I
That
like
shit
flan.
nasty as hell. Oh, well, you might think it's okay. Okay. I ain't
Yeah,
mad
Also
at it.
depends.
I'm
Depends
part
on where you get it
Spanish.
from.
Yeah. It depends on where
All,
you get it from.
all,
You're right.
all flan ain't good. I've had some flan that's disgusting. I've had some that's. Hey, let me get another one.
That shit
Yeah.
tastes so wet. Mm.
It's hit. It's hit or miss.
Mm.
Yeah. All right. Next up is Jada Kiss. Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
I love
Hell
that.
yeah.
She said she
Mr.
was a model
Raspy.
for a year and a half, and then she took her pins out, then her hair dropped down to her calf. I knew her man, he was just up north from what it got left up north, but he was a chef up north. Man,
Yo, that boy
knock yourself
nasty.
out. What?
Mr. Raspy.
Top
That
five
boy
that
Oh,
is
was
nasty.
He said, I hit it over the fence. I roll the window down so I could see over the tents. Oh man.
He's silly. Silly lyrics. Silly.
bars for days.
Bars.
Yeah. Antoine Farquhar. Did I say
Hell
his
yeah.
name right?
Anton
Who's that
Fuqua,
Yeah.
the movie producer. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
one that-
Black
he's one that-
filmmaker.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
the one that did the Transformers film,
Transformers,
right?
yeah.
He did
Correct.
one of them, yes. He also did one of the last Creed before the new one.
Yeah.
He a monster.
Mm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
He a monster.
Hell yeah.
Next up is Dame Dash. Fuck yeah. I fuck
Hell
with
yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell to the yeah.
Boy.
Shout out to Dame.
Ooh.
Shout out
Dame,
to Dame Dash.
he gets his flowers now. I don't believe Dame Dash is really going to get the flowers he deserves until he's no longer here with us. But from top to bottom, that brother has consistently been thorough. And
Yeah.
and especially in the circles that he's been in the industry that he's been part of and everything, it's hard.
And he's
Hard to be
unapologetic.
thorough. And even when he's taken loss or had setbacks because of being thorough, hasn't wavered.
Real talk.
Yeah, plus he's
Big ups to him.
He's very unapologetic about it. So
That's what I like about him.
yeah.
And
That's what I
and
like
not
about
just-
him.
And not just unapologetic about it, but also realistic because and he pushes this, and I love him for doing that as well too. Because he's so unapologetic, he's always been very adamant about having control and power, having your own,
Yeah.
being your own boss, so that no one can have your nuts in the vice. Because it's very difficult. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it, but it's very difficult to be unapologetic like that when other people have your nuts in a vice and they just got to squeeze and you have to take L's or you have to make difficult choices like, do I stand what I believe on, or if I do this, my family is not going to be able to eat. So now I have to bend and kiss the ring. But when you have the power of yourself, you don't have to call him a master. You can, be self-sufficient, self-reliant. It makes it a lot easier to stand on your own 2 feet. And I love how he pushes that and promotes that. So he's saying,
Yeah.
I'm not just saying, have these principles and just suffer because of them. I'm saying you can have it both. You can have the principles and you can still not be lacking for anything.
Real talk.
That doesn't get said enough. A lot of people only come with one or the other. They're saying, get paid by any means, even if it costs you your values, your soul, your principles. Then you have some that's saying, well, make sure you stand for what's important. And who cares if you got to sleep on the street tonight because of it? Nah, you can do
Correct.
both. You need to do both.
Real talk.
Yeah, correct. All right. Next up is Chris Paul. Yeah.
Hell
I
no.
fucks with Chris.
Hell yeah.
I don't like Chris Paul.
You don't like Chris Paul?
No, I think he's overrated. I think he's coming to Golden State now. Show me. Okay.
That's why you're really mad.
Prove it to me, because I'm not
That's why
convinced.
you're mad.
I'm not convinced.
That's
Hell
why
no.
you're mad.
All right,
Seems like a
next
nice
up-
enough guy, but can't play basketball. My question.
His
We'll see.
postseason record, unfortunately, leaves much to be honest, it's not even his. It's not even that he's not a good player. The problem is his ability to stay healthy going into the postseason. That's the issue.
That to
Because I
me,
mean, I don't know if anyone can deny that during the regular season he's a problem. Great distributor, great playmaker. He can get some points as well too. He's great defensive mind. Sure. As someone who historically has almost always had Chris Paul on his fantasy teams, I can tell you the man gets busy with them steals and everything else. But his greatest flaw has been his ability to actually be there for his team in the postseason. And like the boys Cam and Mace be saying on It Is What It Is, the greatest ability of all is availability.
Yeah.
there you go. He's fair.
So,
Prove it. That's all I say. Go ahead. What else you got, Pimpin?
All right.
He's fair.
Next up is Chris Rock. No.
Hell yeah.
You fuck
Hell
with Chris
yeah.
Rock?
Yeah.
I don't know. He be on some Coonan stuff sometimes.
yeah, and that's
He's done some stuff in the past I don't rock with, but I think he's okay now. I think he grew out of
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
I'm gonna give him a hell yeah, but for the same when the boy is on, he's on. When he's off, oof.
Oh. He has some.
I'm gonna give him a hell yeah.
I get why Anthony said what he said, but I'm gonna give him a hell yeah. Yeah.
From my recollection, he's had the overall package. He's been more on than off, so I'm gonna give him a hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
Chris,
next up
don't make me regret that.
next up is Avengers or X-Men.
Hell yeah to the Avengers. What? Hey. That's easy
X-Men.
for me.
Oh, you're saying to both of them? Hell yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
X-Men? You prefer
Hell yeah,
X-Men?
X-Men.
Okay.
I'll take X-Men over the
X-Men.
Avengers. For the whole origins behind it, not that, but the storylines for me were also a lot more significant. I like the Avengers, but Avengers definitely is it's your all-star lineup, but your X-Men, that's your your dependable, your go-tos right there.
Okay.
All right. Next up is Mobb Deep.
Hell yeah.
The infamous
Got you
Mobb
stuck
Deep.
off the realness. We be the infamous. You heard of us. Official Queensbridge murderers. I don't even know what the fuck a Queensbridge is. If niggas had me loving Queensbridge. Them and not.
Say no
So-
such thing as halfway crooks. Scared
What?
to
Yeah,
look,
the
you
look,
shook.
shook. Big Tune. Big Tune.
Next up,
R.I.P. Prodigy.
R.I.P. Prodigy. Yeah.
And Shabba Havoc doesn't get nearly enough credit either.
Living Single. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hold
Quality
up.
TV.
I want to expound on this just a tad. I know we ain't got a lot of time. But
Yeah.
you see how these women be talking about the men always have a problem with women's shows?
Mm-hmm.
Every man that I know loved that show, Living Single. Why do you
Yeah.
suppose that is? That's a rhetorical question. I'll just leave it there. Go ahead. I'm just saying.
Truly Hard Seltzer.
Hell yeah. Hell
What is
yeah.
it?
Really?
Truly hard seltzer. Yeah.
Okay.
What's that?
Truly, it's a
Truly
hard
Hard
seltzer.
One of those alcoholic seltzer joints that they got out.
It's good.
I never had it.
It's really good. Try that shit.
What is this? Something you acquired after marriage?
Nah, I've been drinking that shit since before that.
Wait. Why was that said? Wait a minute.
That was weird. That shit was
That
weird.
was a shot. What's up?
No, you know how
Let's, we're short on time.
No.
Let's get into this.
No, you know how sometimes men we get married and our women have us trying new shit.
Yeah.
So I know, like even when I'm in a relationship and I run across a woman that is very open to a lot of shit. It's like
Yeah.
I learned shit that I normally wouldn't even fuck with. So that's why I asked them that.
Nah, truly is dope. It truly is. It has the same
I never
alcohol
heard of it.
content as beer.
Oh, okay. I never heard
Yeah.
of it. That's why I asked.
Yeah, it's not light. It's not light like some of that Smirnoff shit and whatever. No, it ain't. It's not like a fruit punch. No, It's
Oh,
real.
so
It's
is
good.
it like a faux
So
loco?
it's truly hard to
Is it like
I don't know what the
I hope
fuck that
not.
is. I don't know what that is.
Faux
That's
Loco?
good. They don't. Four Loco was death.
I
I
don't-
can't.
Faux
Never
loco?
heard of
Okay,
it.
faux loco is like natural ice with flavor.
Nah.
I ain't never seen natural. I've never seen natural ice do to people with Four Loco does to people. Look, I've seen. I've low key seen people stuck like meth on that stuff before.
All right. All right. Next up, Rick Ross.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'll give him.
Hell, I give him a hell yeah.
I'll give him.
Hell yeah.
I give him a hell yeah. Because he's good lyrically. His music is good. He's good lyrically. Yeah. Give him a
As
hell
far
yeah.
as the mainstream goes, he's consistently been. He's really been the best out of Miami, to be honest.
He's kind of, yeah,
Consistently.
and that's why I say hell yeah. Because he's the best we
He's
have to
definitely put
offer.
on the back from Port of Miami till now, and he has grown too. You
Yeah.
can definitely hear the growth in his music.
It's significant.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next up is
Funny
Faison
as hell
Love.
too.
Fuck no.
Faison Love,
Faison
nah.
Love.
I don't fuck with Faison Love.
I don't fuck with Faison.
Just too much of a damn hater.
I
Yeah.
do like Big
He's-
Worm,
he's one
and I
of
do
them-
like him on the Parenthood. But
He's one of those trick women, dog. You know, you give them some money and they just say any fucking thing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Red
Very
Bull.
bitter.
Fuck no.
Hell no.
No, I don't fuck.
Hell no. Piss water and garbage. Hell no. No.
I'm gonna give a hell yeah for the memories. That's all.
Samsung
times right there.
Electronics. Yeah, Samsung Electronics.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Got my Samsung right here. You dig?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You
What's
dig?
up? Hell yeah.
Next up, Sanaya Layton.
Hell
I used to like her like that.
Hell
I
yeah.
like
What?
her in the movies, but her personality off is
Yeah,
shit.
she does some stuff to kind of play herself, but I still give her a hell yeah. I mean,
Yeah. She's
He does some
she's
stuff.
always been my
Sanaa, Stella, my wife, so watch what y'all say.
yeah.
All right, next
Mental
up.
note.
I don't play by mine. So watch
Mental
what y'all say.
note.
Just be respectful.
Okay.
All right, so the next up is Freeway. Which Freeway this is?
Freeway. The rapper Freeway.
Oh, okay.
Even though
Yeah,
we do
Freeway.
things
Oh,
wrong.
fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
I listen
Hell
to in the morning. I listen to All Right, dog. That's like my theme song.
Freeway. I rock with Freeway. I rock with
I
him.
rock- I
Yeah.
rock with it.
Very solid.
All right, next up.
Spitter.
Yeah.
Very solid.
Next up
Spitter. I
is-
think I give him number 2. I'll probably give him number 2. Of course, Black Thought by default is King of Philly, but I give Freeway number 2.
Yeah. I
Over
definitely
Beans?
get
Over
Freeway.
Beans?
I got
Over-
to. Beans,
Over Mika?
Beans-
Beans is
Oh.
lyric, but we talking about songs like free songs. We fuck. Yo, I do what they got. That right.
Yeah. Free
he
should
also
be
doesn't
rocking.
get credit.
Yo,
Free,
that nigga
free,
songs.
free
be
is a
fucking
free
killing
got some
it,
lyrics.
bro.
Free's a lyricist though. He does.
Yeah, 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 I rock
Yeah,
with
Free's a lyricist, but that nigga not fucking with Beans, bro. Like
I don't think
Beans,
he fucking
yo,
with
the
Beans.
Beans,
No.
the Beans and the Roots album. I mean, the Beans and the
Yeah.
Roots feature. Oh fuck, I listen to that shit every now and then just to get back on that lyrical.
Beans a
Roots
problem.
shit. Man,
Yeah.
Beans with the
Yes.
Roots on that song was sick. His
No
verse
doubt.
is sick.
Yes.
All right, next
Everyone
up is
talks about
Sha'Carri.
Free at Last was dope.
Okay.
Yeah. Sha'Carri Richardson.
Hell yeah.
Fuck with
Hell yeah. I done became a fan overnight. I like the way that young lady has matured. Shout out to her.
I fucks with it. And the last but not least, oh, go ahead, Bobby.
No. I was saying
you fuck with
I've
it?
always been a fan.
Yeah.
I was disappointed in the turn that things took, but my stance on it has always been the same. Focus on your focus.
Mhm.
That's the solution to everything. And once she started doing that, back to where
Lights out.
she's always supposed to be.
Lights out.
Exactly. All right, last but not least, Tommy Davidson. Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell
fuck with
yeah.
Tommy
Tommy
Davidson.
Davidson's
That's a-
hilarious.
That's a
Was
funny
just-
dude. That is a
Was just
naturally
talking
funny
about that
dude.
brother Friday, matter of fact, I was just talking about his brother with my coworkers.
Okay.
His white cat, and he actually pulled up one of his videos that he did recently. I think he had a special, like I think in 2002 or something.
Uh-huh.
And I was very pleased. I was very happy.
He's the
I
problem.
legit had a moment.
Yeah.
I legit had a moment where I just like took a deep sigh of relief, and the brother looks good.
Yeah, he
He's
does. He
not
looks young.
he's not overweight and obese. He's not scrawny, skinny like he's got a habit or whatever. He's very good, healthy weight. He looks good. He's clear. He's coherent. And you know, a lot of brothers and sisters from back in the day, you know, some of them not doing too well if they're still with us.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to see that he's alive and well, healthy, still doing his thing with his craft and everything. I was very happy to see it. We don't have a whole lot of those stories in some cases, so that made me feel good.
Let me tell you, if y'all, they came here twice already, but if y'all happen to go to that new Cat Williams, his latest comedy show, Tommy Davidson is part of that show. It is the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. It is the funniest comedy show I've ever been to. Boy, they ripped that stage to shreds. It's Cat Williams and about 5 or 6 other comedians. Some of them you never heard of, but Tommy Davidson and Mark Cooper from Hanging with Mr. Cooper, they were both
Mark
on there.
Coop's in it? Nah.
Coop's funny.
It
I
was
love
epic.
the sitcom. I love Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Yes.
They
It
never
was
talk about
epic.
that was a fun show, but his stand-up is
He
beast.
was funny as fuck.
That shit was
Especially that
epic.
shit-
Yeah,
that
Give me the
scene where he
name
was-
of that tour.
I will. I'll find it and send it to you.
That's
You
going at
remember
the
that
top of my
scene?
hit list.
You
Okay.
remember that scene with I think it was on the Jamie Foxx show. You remember when Coop was on there? He was like, "What you say, boy? What you say, boy?"
When he was a
You
drill
remember
sergeant,
Yeah.
when he was the driver's ed instructor. Oh my god!
Oh yeah, I remember that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Dog, the
Yeah.
motherfuckers is trying so hard not to laugh, dog.
Ja-
That shit.
Jamie over there talking to he's talking to Braxton like on the low.
Yeah.
Mark Cooper damn near broke his neck. Like, boy, what you say? And I actually saw someone talk about. Behind the scenes from that episode. He said
Yeah.
that scene where Mark Curry slid
Yeah.
trying
yeah.
to get Jamie.
Yeah.
That actually wasn't planned. It was an accident. He like legit. That's why they started.
Oh.
That's why someone started break character. He legitimately slipped.
Oh,
But
okay.
Curry, not just because he's funny, but shout out his professionalism. Bruh's such a professional. He didn't let that throw off. He stayed in the moment and went right on through it. That's why Jimmy had to turn around and like, "Boy, what you say?"
Yeah.
And
But
that's
it
why
was
it was
so-
so fun. It felt so organic,
Yeah.
but just that
That
talent.
slip.
Man.
That slip actually what made it, because
Yes.
I thought he was like jumping that fast to him that you slipped. You know what I'm saying?
What you say?
That shit was so, man. when I
No,
tell you-
sir. I can't hear you.
That shit
No,
was
sir.
Oh man.
It's the 23andMe tour.
Yeah. Oh,
The
okay.
Right there, me.
23andMe tour. Yeah, that shit.
Check it out.
I
You'll
will be in
shit
attendance
yourself
if I get a
laughing.
chance. Yeah.
All right. Last but not least, before we get up out of here, because we know you guys been up with us, rocking with us. You got to go to work tomorrow. So do I. And the last but not least segment we got is Crown Check. I had to switch it up today. Because something occurred that was phenomenal. And I heard about this young lady a couple years back, and I was intrigued because one of the person that I knew personally, this was her best friend's daughter. So with that being said, I am going to give our crown check to Coco Graf.
Okay. Okay.
So
Go,
she
go.
just won the U.S. Singles Open tournament at her age, which was phenomenal.
That is
So-
phenomenal.
The torches have been passed along, and I love it. I'm glad she was able to grab part of that torch and be part of the legacy. And, you know, just a phenomenal individual, man. I know her
Beautiful.
parents through my friends. So, you know, very great individuals that have produced a great child in the process. You know what I'm saying? And I'm so honored that she was able to, you know, grasp this very huge accomplishment at such a young age. And she worked so hard And I remember there was a picture showing her in the tennis stadium, and it was saying like, one day I'll be here, and who would have thought that she would end up being there, you know what I mean? So that was super,
Wow.
super dope. First career major, it's just so great for her, going
Awesome.
through what she was going through. And I wanted to give, like, we're talking about hip hop. So I wanted to show how hip hop has evolved, right? So you're talking about the great pioneers, everybody from the Curtis Blow to the African Bambadas. Then it goes on to KRS-One, and then we go to Q-Tip, Tribe Called Quest. You got after that, the Nas and everybody else that comes along in the process of all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So the torches have been passed throughout, and we see great MCs being great because of their predecessors before them. And I just wanted to show that we had the Serenas, before Coco, before Osaka. We had this wonderful woman down here in the state of Florida. A lot of people don't know who she is, but let's give you a little review of Kim Sands, today better known as Coach Kim, was the first Black female tennis player admitted to the University of Miami on an athletic scholarship. Before she joined tennis team in 1974, she got her start as a young teen playing at Moore Park. Sands is from Coconut Grove and also grew up in the Latchmount Gardens housing projects near El Portal.
Larchmont. Oh, wow.
Yeah, she was also a standout basketball player at Miami Edison High, but tennis was calling her name. After graduating from UM, she went pro. At one point, she was sponsored by the professional boxer Leon Spinks to kick off her professional tennis career.
Wow.
Sands reached the 44th in the Women's Tennis Association ranking in April 1984. She played Wimbledon and trained with the tennis greats like Arthur Ashe and Althea Gibson. Sands traveled the world playing in China, Australia, France, to name a few. Two young aspiring tennis players, Serena Venus Williams, would even watch her and other play tournaments in the LA Forum. Sands returned to Miami and became the first Black woman to coach tennis at UM. She would also coach at Moore Park, where she got her start. And most recently, she retired from the City of Miami Parks Department, where she was the park manager at Legion Park. So just to give you guys a great history of who this wonderful woman is, and just to show you how representation matters. This is what we talk about. Serena and Venus, they watched somebody who looked like her, just an older version,
right,
and said, I want to do what she did. And then the Serena and Venus went on as legends. And then next came, Osaka. Yep. And then after the Osaka, here comes Coco Gauff.
Sloane Stevens, all them.
Exactly. So, you know what I'm saying? There's so many others that are birthed through representation. And it's just so much that, I was just so proud of the young lady achieving her greatest accomplishment this weekend. And I figured that, this would be great to honor her and make sure that everybody else could see the wonderful job she's done and the amount of work that paid off in the process. And always having that dream and executing it through it. And also having some dope parents. Both of them were Black and unapologetic and pushing her to her dreams. So shout out to the whole family structure. She had a father and a mother growing up through the whole time and created to be a powerful human being that you see in front of you, heisting and holding up a Wimbledon trophy. All right.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
that is incredible.
So that's what we have for you for today. I'll let you guys end us out, and let the people know what's good. And then next week we got you guys know next week we're doing viewers choice. So whatever you guys want to ask us, whatever you guys want to questions you want to talk about, inbox us, email us, manversations2020@gmail.com. Just email it to us. We're definitely going to do a song just for our listeners and our viewers and the fan base. All right. So with that being said, you fellas go ahead and exit us out.
Yo, hip hop. We love you, man. You know what I'm saying? I just can't find enough ways to say it, man. Hip hop. No matter what I was going through in my life, hip hop was always there right beside a player. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to hip hop, shout out to the hip hop community and others that love hip hop. I want to issue a challenge out to these rappers that's out there today. I would like to see some balance in the hip hop game. Y'all talk about how you keep it real. I'd like to see you really keep it real because nobody gets high, fucks promiscuously, and gets drunk and throws money in the club all the damn time. I want to hear y'all niggas talk about something. Y'all got somebody in your life that you care about. Y'all got a woman that you love. You understand what I'm saying? Y'all don't love your kids. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't feel nothing. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't feel nothing. Y'all don't feel like y'all want to speak in terms that inspire other people instead of creating this murder music that just poisons the minds of the youth, and not even just the youth, the adults. I'm tired of hearing hip hop music be about nothing, or so-called hip hop music be about nothing. And some of y'all are very talented, but your music is shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna just keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it 100. I want to challenge some of the newer artists to make some real fucking hip hop music. Some of you older artists that are out there, I want to hear more of y'all speak up. I heard Queen Latifah speak up not too long ago, you know, talking about how, you know, some of these females out here, you know, they ain't MCing. Jermaine Dupri said something similar, you know, bunch of stripper rap out here. That ain't a genre. You understand what I'm saying? The I'm a hoe rapper. That shit is whack. Y'all need to stop. You know what I'm saying? It's played, it's whack, it's garbage, it's trash. You know what I'm saying? The junkie rapper, that's also not a genre. You get on tracks and all you talk about is how much drugs you do. Not even how much drugs you sell, how much drugs you do, how much you treat your nose, and how much you can get high off of this lean. That shit is garbage, man. You know what I'm saying? And like, I really know that y'all have something better to talk about. I know that y'all have better content. I know that y'all are better than that. And I would like to see more of you come out and respect the game, respect the craft, respect the forefathers that came before you. Clowns like Lil Yachty coming out talking down on quote unquote old rappers. Nigga, you don't think you ever gonna get old? Some of the most breathtakingly stupid things rappers do day in and day out. And this is why people say that shit that you do ain't hip hop, and it's not. Period. You know, I really, really would like to see some of our youth, you know, and even some of the older rappers. You know, I'd like to see Jay-Z put out an album, a new album like Nas is doing. Nas is consistently putting out albums that are good, quality albums. Shout out to that brother. Nas is probably one of the only rappers from back in the day who's still repping the culture and holding it down. To Bobby's point, that's why you can't deny him as one of the greats. Not only is he still doing it, he's still actually putting out albums. What'd you say, Bobby?
It's like goat music.
Real talk. That is why Nas, before it's all said and done, he might end up being the GOAT. I might move him to number one on my list. He's right after Tupac right now, but Nas is dangerous, man. People like 21 Savage, goofy ass, talk about how Nas isn't relevant. He had to come out and clean it up. Thank God he did. They did a track together. That's great. But let's get some act right before we open our mouths and start talking stupid about legends. Let's do it that way next time. You know, Real talk, man. Hip hop is a beautiful culture, and y'all need to take your time and put out something worth remembering. Think about your legacy when it comes to hip hop, man, because, you know, 20, 30, 40 years from now, my coochie pink, my booty hole brown is not going to be remembered. Real talk. And the capacity in which it will be remembered is the capacity of a joke and something that we were ashamed of as a society. And she's not the only one, by the way. I'm just using that as an example. Molly Percocet, same shit. You understand what I'm saying? We can do better than this. James Brown's dying wish was clean up the music. So I would like to hear, some positive music. There's a rapper out of, I think, Ohio who's talking about how we're trying to party to murder music all the time. He's spot on. A lot of y'all niggas really need to do some soul searching and think about the shit that you're putting out and the effect that it's having on people. And, the current state of so-called hip hop, because it ain't real hip hop, is shit. I just want to put that out there. Shout out, I just want to put my quick list of underrated rappers and abstract rappers that I want y'all to check out. Number one is my boy Paris. Number two is my crew X Clan. Number three is Organized Confusion. Number four is Field Mob, who is so slept on. And number five is PM Dawn. Believe it or not, them boys got some joints. So, yeah, that's just my little blurb. Shout out to Real Hip Hop. Shout out to Real Hip Hop artists. The only two lyricists that are in the game now, commercially, are J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar. You could throw Wale in there too. Wale's also a lyricist, but that's about it. Except for veterans like Nas. But I'm talking about newer cats. We need more cats out there doing that.
I like
Ain't no excuse. Huh?
JID is a lyricist. I get
Okay,
that.
I haven't heard him.
Hey, young dude.
I'm gonna send you the song because I'm gonna send you some music because you playing.
Okay, I'm gonna check him out.
Definitely. If you got teenagers out here, start sending them to listen to JID.
Bet.
Really dope young dude.
Bet.
Yeah.
That's me.
You up?
Major out here playing a home run derby and just, taking all the meat off the bones. So big ups to him. Big ups to Major. So Major addressed the artist, which was very necessary. I want to talk to the people. So, even though we unfortunately do live in an era where the garbage is all around us, it's almost like you can't escape it for nothing. There is still a lot of quality music that is being put out quietly on the sneak. And you also got a whole bunch of stuff in the crates that you probably haven't even heard of that's out there. The biggest issue, and I'm not going to necessarily knock on any of the music that is being put out now. Lord knows I certainly can. But I would say the issue is less that we have the music out now that we do, and more that there's an imbalance. There's a time for all things. Look, man, I don't care, how highbrow you might be, how refined your taste may be. There is a time, even if it's only for 5 minutes, to get a little ratchet. All right, it's time to get a little hood, to kind of dip in your bag and to kind of just let that side out. Because as human beings, we're diverse, we're multifaceted, we have different sides to us.
Right.
And to an extent, all these sides of us need a time and place and an ability to vent and to release themselves. It's part of who we are. But even the ratchets, even the dusties and the hood boogers, there's also a time, I'd say there's many times a time where you got to elevate it a little bit. You got to up the vibration. You got to up the frequency. You got to up the sophistication. You need balance. All right. So we have the lowbrow gutter stuff in abundance. No shortage of that. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
We need to balance the scales and get some of that solid, wholesome, quality, uplifting stuff back. the stuff that's gonna make you mentally stretch, the stuff that's gonna make your spirit elevate, that's gonna make you feel more positive, that's gonna have you looking at each other in a different light. All right, and it's out there. We named a bunch of artists, a bunch of songs that you can start, you can dig with. If you got music services like Spotify and Pandora, they have options. We can create radio stations or even playlists based on certain artists, and once you listen to one artist or one song, other similar ones will pop up. Use that to go explore, take a little dive, man. Check out some of these artists and take a chance. You never heard this artist, never heard this song? Explore a little. You might be surprised. But there is quality out there. Now, if you're lazy, no one's going to come and spoon feed it to you. No one's going to go and put it in your lap and put your earbuds, your headphones on and press play for you and adjust the volume. No one's going to do all that for you. But for your own self, for your own growth, go ahead and do it. You'll be surprised. Even the most ratchet artists that you listen to, if you listen to some of the tracks, somewhere there's a verse, there's a line, there's a bar, there's a musical riff that they're sampling for the beat or whatever, and they got from something that more than likely has some substance to it. So even in the garbage, sometimes you can find a gem or two. Go out there, do some digging. I can't remember the exact name of the site. I think it's called Who Sampled It, but you can Google Who Sampled It. And some of your favorite songs, go ahead and toss the songs in there, and you can actually find out if there's any samples that were used. You can find out who the artist is, what's the name of the song. Do some reverse engineering and learn, if nothing else, better learn the music that you already like. Find out what inspired this. Man, I love this song, man. This always gets me hyped, man. I love this song, significant to me. Do a deep dive. Find out what it is that is responsible for bringing something that's meaningful like this to you. So go ahead and take responsibility for your own discography, for your own music. But in the meantime, definitely we need other artists to step up and to not be afraid to actually represent quality, to represent proper hip-hop, because that's what it's about, representing. That's what it's always been about from day one. A group of people who were not represented, and so they took it upon themselves. We're going to do the job ourselves. Representation. That's the culture. So go ahead, get a part. We'll shop with y'all next week. Much love. Be well.
Definitely. Hey. Go ahead, Major.
No, that's it.
Oh, okay.
I was saying, yay.
Okay. All right. So we'll see you guys next week. And stay tuned. Like I say, give us the ideal, shout us out. And we're definitely going to give you guys this week episode of whatever you guys want to talk about, whatever you want to discuss. It's all on you. All right.
And don't forget to hit like and subscribe and share. You know what it is.
Damn it.
Jam that button.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah. All right. So we out of here. See y'all next week. All right.
Yeah.
Peace out, family.
All right.
All right.
On the album, we do things like songs that are a little, what we call sexy. You can see from the title, it's more of a love album.